It was another classic in America last week, but you know, it's time to get back to Europe and let's go and visit one of the most legendary tracks in the world is tonight. The Race Anywhere World Series visits Spa-Francorchamps live here on Absolute Sim Racing. Good evening, everybody. My name is Craig King, and once again, fresh from his recovery of his illness, this is Daniel Hanover on the microphone and the cameras. Tonight, as I was saying, we come to Spa. Designed in 1920 as a road course between Francorchamps, Malmedy and Stavelot. Where are those names familiar? I wonder. This track has seen many changes over the years, and the version we all know and love nowadays, 7 kilometers long, 20 turns. Now in the real world, it's got a lot of racing series here. F1, of course, WEC with the 6,000 Spa. You've got the Spa 24 Hours of the World GT Championship, and recently, World Rallycross Championship? Yep, it happened. Got many iconic corners and landmarks. We're talking Wuhan, we're talking Blanchimont, and of course, that fantastic picturesque photo of Eau Rouge up to Raidillon. And when I say Raidillon, hey Tanner, how's Raidillon? It would be impossible to list all the memorable moments from this track over the years. What I think of Spa though, Lewis Hamilton versus Kimi Räikkönen in the wet, the 6,000 Spa in the hail and the snow, and of course, the Häkkinen. Now Dan, I don't think we're going to see any Häkkinens today. Maybe, fingers crossed, but once again, this track promises to be another one where fuel economy is the important factor.
Indeed it is. Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for tuning in. It is good to be back, and I'm feeling fresh as a daisy. Yeah, absolutely. Very, very true. You know, I say it time and time again, and it's one of the things that I will consistently say, and people actually probably will be getting frustrated with how much I say it, but it is very, very true. Fuel saving is so very key here. It's surprising. It's quite a technical track in some places, but they're nice, open flow. You know, they're corners that flow very well. So if you can hold some good, some good fuel saving techniques, you are well on the way to get a good result here. It's very, very crucial. So we are going to see, may not be as much racing on track in one respect, but from a strategy point of view, this is probably going to be one of the best races that we are going to have.
And one of the things as well, when we talk about the fuel, a key factor here, this is the endurance layout. So not only does that mean the start is down after La Source, but we're also talking about it's the long pit lane. It's that pit lane where you come into the GP side, you go around the whole of turn 1 and you go down into your box, which also means for fuel calculators it starts to get a little bit confusing when it comes to the calculators. Many drivers having to clutch it as they come down that hill into their pit box. It's very challenging in terms of that aspect. You've got to be aware of what you're doing on the fuel, and fuel's always important, but a little mistake like that could hinder you. Now we're seeing the first lap times coming in soon now on the amateurs. And while they are coming around, just a nice update for that championship for the amateurs. Toyota Sauerhaug is still leading, 305 points. Tried to get a little bit of a lead with Dean Temps. Unfortunately, it's not. I don't know where he is at the moment. Sitting on 285. Dylan Kinch on third with 265. And then it's all very close behind. Werner S, 255. Ingo Lapsian, 250. So it really promises once again, even with that gap at the front of the top two, it's still quite close in the amateurs.
It's very, very close indeed. Absolutely true, and I'm sure this is going to be the same thing for the the remainder of the season. There is Sauerhaug that you can see now on your screen in the number 98 Lamborghini, looking as fabulous as ever. Great striking delivery from the slow-mo guys here. Really, really like it. Yeah, the first times are going to start coming on the board. You've got 2 flying laps that everyone's got to complete here. It is one of the longer tracks that we have seen. It's longer than, actually, probably one of the longest that we've got here, bar Nürburgring. The Nordschleife, I think it's probably the next longest. Actually, no, tell it, I'm completely ignoring Le Mans because that's a thing. So, yeah, Spa is a track. You may find that the gaps will tend to be a little bit bigger here. That's one of the things we have to take into consideration. Ingo Lapsian goes for his first. Here's the first score on the board, but then Liam Ahern comes straight in and then pushes that up. Now we're going to see Werner S now comes through. He's in second. Look at the gaps already. We've got 6,000 of a second, 8,000 of a second. Sauerhaug, there we go. We've seen that before, and we're going to see it once again. He has taken the provisional pole position by just over a tenth of a second. Although Dave Meeking is looking pretty fast as well in some of these sectors. Let's have a look and see how he goes through. Who else is coming up? Satag still leading the way. Magna Yonlan has gone up into P3, a couple of tenths behind. But Dave Meekin, he's got one more corner to go. Bit of a sideways on the exit of the bus stop for the first part. He manages to get it all checked up, though. Is it going to be? No, it's going to put him currently up in 2. That's going to put him P2. It's very, very close still at the top. And now half a oh my goodness, half a tenth now separate the first. Oh, look at that, Frederick Devoy. He's just gone up 9 thousandths of a second off. At 9 thousandths of a second faster than Satterhaug. Oh my goodness, we are going to be in for a treat this race. Not only have we got some very, very good racing in terms of strategy, but we're going to have some good racing on board as well. Sorry to just butt in there. Sauerhag has gone off. Sauerhag is not going to set another lap. And you see him now there in the dirt gravel there. That looks to me that I was just going to see the replay. That is Bruxelles. It looked like Bruxelles, and the back just slides out there. Probably taking a bit too much speed there. Maybe not getting the gears shifted down. I know sometimes drivers do like to just shift down to second halfway through the corner there. That's how they like to drive. So he will not take another lap. Neither will Ingo Lapsian. So it all comes down to this. We're not seeing a lot of green out there at the moment. The Simon Dodd is going green at the moment. You're looking at the 79, and Mark Bailey just had a spin as well. The 77, that looks to be out of stab lots. That is indeed out of stab lots. So we're seeing drivers pushing the edge here. And like I said, look at these times as Dan was saying. Top 10 separated by 4/10 of a second. Here's Mark Bailey. He's already lost it there. Too much speed by the looks of it. He's already lost it. Simon Dodd will come across the line in pole position. 2:66.58 for Simon Dodd. And that is a very happy person out there at the moment. Mangera, he's going green at the moment. What can he do at the moment? And Henny, hey, that's a purple after all the yellows here. Mangera's going to come across the start-finish line very shortly. What is his time? It's a 2:17.7, a 2:16. It doesn't improve. What about Henning Haig? He just goes up, but it's not fast enough. Magnar Jonland, again, half a tenth out. Haddad, he comes up. No one seems to be setting fast times at the moment, but Pedrao is looking fast. Pedrao is looking very fast as well. I think Dave Meekin just went up. He's actually going to see if he's going to improve on his time. I don't think he will do, but let's see what it's going to come up as. I don't think it is. No improvement. As you say, Pedrao looking very, very quick. The Porsche is a very, very good car. It's a stable car. We've seen this time and time again. What is Pedrao going to do? Is it going to be improvement? He moves up, but it's only one position, so up into P14. And I believe that is it for your for your AM category. Sorry. So we're going to wait a few moments, and then we'll be able to get your pro AM drivers leaving the pits in a few moments' time. There they are, actually getting ready to go. Actually, do you know what? Are they already out on circuit? They're already out on circuit. You know, they're already talk about waiting at the pit lane. They're already gone. Here they are. No time waits for no man.
I think as well, a lot of that is also just due to the set. You know, we like we said, we're talking 2-minute lap times here, 2:16s, 2:17s. I am loving that the Ferrari at the top of the field at the moment for the amateurs. There are some BMWs dicing there. BMW is such a tough car around here with all that understeer. It's more of a track. I've always told this is a track where your best way to work it is to fight the understeer. Don't work with it. You know, don't work with it. But basically, makes it. That's Ryan Hamilton. Sorry, Ryan Hamilton's just had an off. Now, has he hit the back of the wall? Has he caused wing damage? I'm not sure. And that is just in the lead up to the bus stop. We can just see him there. Might get a replay. It doesn't look like he's got any damage to the rear there. He did hit the tie wall. Let's just see what happened. Looks like he just lost control of it coming around Blanchimont.
Should be fine.
Should be fine though.
It's a tricky corner. It's a tricky corner, especially when you're on cold tyres. At the moment, Ryan Hamilton still hasn't moved. Obviously, waiting for some cars to go, which is good of him, and rejoining as safely as possible. I think realistically, you've probably got to be. That won't be too much damage from that. If it was an Armco barrier, it would be slightly different. But as it's a standard barrier, I don't think that's going to be too much of a problem, to be perfectly honest. Times are starting to. Well, people are now on their first flying laps. So times are starting to come in. Ethan Bass, obviously fantastic performance last time out in the Ford. So hopefully we're going to see a similar performance here. I don't know how the Ford is going to outperform here compared to the BMWs, Lamborghinis, Porsches, etc. But I'm sure that Ethan Bass is going to be giving it absolutely everything. So hard to determine sort of what times are being set here. We've got Cody Pride straight away with a purple sector in Sector 2. Again, another Porsche. Porsche's looking very, very strong here today. But we will have to see. So it's a green first sector. It's a purple second. No one else has done purple. Ethan Bass actually has just done a purple first sector. Interesting enough. Another green for Cody Pride on the second. So are we going to see... So Will Richardson, look at that. So this is where the time has started to come on the board. Will Richardson is actually just ahead of Cody Pride in terms of lap. You can just... Actually, no. I'll tell you what. Tell a lie. Will Richardson's actually just behind the... time. Someone's actually, you can just see as well, Wood Richardson's purple sector just went to green, and I think that's because Ethan Bass has just taken that straight off of him. That's Ethan Bass is looking quick here.
Alvin Kjellberg is looking quick as well. Ethan Bass, by the way, P2 in the championship, 295. Cody Pride leading with 310, and then Svenny Mathiasson is third with Daniel Sedgley on 290. But at the moment, we're looking at these times. Here comes some of the times. Cody Pride comes in with 2:15.403, and he sets the standard. Kjellberg only does the .705, and Will Richardson not doing any better at the moment. He tries and splits them. Ethan Bass has been on fire at the moment on that Ford. What can he do as he comes across the line? It's going to be very fast. At the 2:15.751, I thought it would be quicker. With those purples, you would think it was quicker. Daniel Sedgley then comes across the line. He comes in with a 16.088, and the other times it now starting to come. Look at the oranges, though. It is still close. It is still very close out there. Thomas Reiter will come across, and he will set a looks like a 2:16. Joachim Code as well will set times. The times are coming in. I think some of them may have fallen to the new off-track rules. I call them new, they're still new to me. The new off-track rules that are at Spa, which I think is the first time we get to see them.
Yeah, is it Eau Rouge and Radion are the two ones that are slightly...
Well, they're all four tire rule. It's the full four tire rule. So coming out of Malmedy, coming out of Eau Rouge and Radion, going around Wuhan as well, Stavlot, around Blanchimont as well. Just those corners, which always had some inconsistencies when you went on the curb, they now have the four tire rule, which is always interesting to see because you see it going up. Look how aggressive you can be up Eau Rouge and Radion right now because of that whole thing. You can even go to the left more nowadays because of that two tire rule, which is really, really changing the way some of these cars drive around this track now.
I think it's about time, to be fair, isn't it? Because Spa has been the most hated of off tracks for everyone. It's been the most hated of off tracks in terms of tracks and iRacing for me as well. So it's nice to see that they've changed it and are allowing a little bit more leeway. Because that's how if you watch them in real life, that's how they drive them in real life. They're flying up Radion. Ideally, in hindsight, they're probably using a bit too much curb at Radion, but the cars are so fast now, it's very, very hard not to, in one respect. So you do have to be, it's nice to see that iRacing again coming with the times. Ethan Bass has just got another purple Sector 3. Do you know what? I reckon this could be... He's got a 10th or so. We might see another 10th improvement. Might put it up into second. I've noticed, though, look at that. Cody Pride and Albin Kjellberg are both in the pits. They will not be performing another lap. So this is it for those two. So Cody Pride's confident with his time. Is it going to be enough? Because you see, Thomas Dandridge just goes up. Where is Ethan Bass going to go? Is it going to be any higher? It is higher. Actually, do you know what? I think it might have been an invalidated lap.
Yeah, it's an invalid lap. Not sure where he got that. It looked like he was really good there. I don't know if it was the last corner. He did have a lot of good times there. Anyway, other cars are now coming across the line. There's not a lot going on. Thomas Reiter just comes across. He doesn't go faster. You know what? I think once again, we've got Chris Chatterton and Ryan Hamilton coming around. I don't know if these two will be faster. Actually, Ryan Hamilton will be one to keep an eye out for because Ryan Hamilton did have those cold tires first time around, and that's invalid. Chris Chatterton doesn't go any faster himself. Svenny Matters could look to be, he needs to make a good time around here. And he only goes 11th overall. So some cars are struggling out there at the moment. And I am really surprised to see so many drivers only being able to, I don't know if it's the case of getting the tires warmed up, but they're only getting one decent lap. And I think Simon Dodd's the only driver we've seen who's gone better on his second lap and actually made it count.
It's certainly a possibility, and obviously they have made some adjustments to the GT3s. This might just be the case, especially for someone like Spa. Sometimes you may find that if we look at the track temps as well and what they are, the track is currently 23 degrees. It's a relatively cool track for Spa, so it's a tricky one. It's certainly a tricky one. This may just be where drivers are just feeling a little bit more at home. They're feeling more at home on the first lap, and then you see a slight drop off with tyres, and then it all starts to go a little bit downhill. We simply don't know. It'll be good to have a chat with the drivers when they come to the end of the race, and we'll be able to have a chat with a couple of people, all being well. But yeah, I really don't know. It will certainly be an interesting one to keep an eye on. But is it going to be the same for the pros? Obviously, the AMs and the Pro-Ams seem to be having that difficulty there. I wonder if it is going to be the same with the Pro category. Currently, Alex Gal going down the Campbell Straight for his first flying lap. And I'm sure we're going to, again, see some green sectors, probably a few purple sectors as well. There is Alex Gal actually with one purple sector straight away on the cards in Sector 1. So setting the pace early on is the number 64 Ferrari. Is this going to be the case? We saw a very, again, a strong performance as well, strong pace throughout the season for Alex Gal. Is this going to be a continuation of this for Spa round number 5?
We know the power of the Ferrari. We've seen how good the Ferraris have been in the AMs. We've seen the power of the one Ferrari, Alvin Schellberg, in the Pro-Am. So, Alex Gal, it's all signs point to, a top row, first row, maybe a top 2. Martin Nedlick, though, just going purple as well. So that could be one to see as well. But you can see these greens, they're being really aggressive at the moment with their tires. They're really pulling it hard, pulling as fast. And you can see Alex Gal now, he gets that purple. Be interesting to see what happens to Huguenot and Nedlick. Will either of those go purple? And there you go, Huguenot goes purple now. So they're almost matching each other. And Alex Gal almost getting an off track there. But you can see, on the old days, that would have been an off-track. But the full tyre rule, he's still okay. He kept all 4 tyres inside. He comes around. There's somebody else that's now gone purple. I tell you, that third sector, it's just everyone's just setting fast time after fast time down into the bus stop. Brake hard, brake hard, brake hard, brake hard. And he does, and around a little bit of a touch of the sausage there, but a nice exit of the bus stop. What is it going to be for Alex Gal? He'll be the first one in the pros to set a time. It's Bassett, the 2:15.257. Kaz Huguenot is going to be right behind him, though. What does Kaz do? 2 purples, and he comes across, and it's only good enough for a 2:94. But look at that. Nedlick then comes across with purples. All I'm seeing is purple. Purple is the color right now. What can Alex Bennett do? Surely he's going to go faster. He does. 2:14.867. That is a mark to set. What a time, first driver in the 2:14s.
Very quick indeed from Bennett. Look at that, 3/10 on pace. I tell you what, maybe, we were talking about what you just said there in regards to the first lap. I wonder if Alex Bennett, he's just gone straight back in the pits. I wonder if the testing has happened here and he knows. We saw that a couple of times in the Pro-Am. We saw that from Cody Pride. Maybe it is, the first lap simply is the only lap that's going to count. The second lap is redundant. There's no point in doing anything. So you've got to be confident in the pace, but maybe that's what we were seeing there. It would certainly make sense, but that's a fantastic time there from Alex Bennett. That's a ridiculously fast time. So we will have to see if someone can be there. Nick Labiche, he goes up. He's actually up into P2. So Labiche is up there. He's around, still, that's 3/10 off. It's a sizable gap by any stretch of the imagination. It's certainly a sizable gap here. Danny Rates, where is he going to go for a second lap? Currently, last lap was a 2:16.6. So I'm sure we're going to see a bit of extra pace there coming up from Rates. Harry Wills is down currently at the moment. Harry Wills is in P12. He was complaining a little bit about the Mercedes wasn't quite well, it wasn't responding too well to Spa. Which I can understand. It is one of the older cars on the grid nowadays. Bar the Ford, I think this actually might be the oldest car on the grid. The other older one would have been the Z4, which has since been redundant. So the Ferrari, obviously you have the The BMW GT4, that was, the BMW GT3, that was last year. Actually, no, that was this year, wasn't it? I believe that the BMW was released. Obviously, the Ferrari was this year, and I believe the Lamborghini was this year as well. So, all new cars compared to a Mercedes that's been around for, well, what seems to be like the dawn of time. This has been around for about 4 years or so, I think, now.
I'm not sure, but I think you've fallen into the number one trap when it comes to Harry Wheels. If he says he's struggling in the Mercedes, that means he's going to have a good race. This is a typical Mercedes sandbag. And I don't mean that about the F1 team. It is literally Harry. But he is using the Le Mans stock today. As actually as well as Kaz Huguenot, who has also mentioned he's been struggling. He did an invalid lap that last time. Nick Madsen hasn't really done faster this time round. Furtwängler is on good pace at the moment. What is Max going to do when he comes across? You can just see, again, some of these drivers, they're not pushing hard. Not a lot of fast times going around here, but Max is crossing the 2:16.474, only just slower. But again, I don't think we're going to see people come around and beat their times. Yowen comes across. That did not look faster. Francorchamps, he will come across. He needs to do something. Oh, hello. That's a bit of an aggressive run there into the wall. Francorchamps will come across. What does he do? At slow as well. Harry Wills will be the last one. Again, no one has actually improved. It's bizarre. It must be something to do with the track conditions, because yet again, nobody improved.
It's an interesting thing, isn't it? So again, maybe with the changes that we've seen, the changes that we've now got within the time model or whatever it may be, it just seems to be the first lap is the lap to have. Again, are we going to see that have too much of an effect? Qualifying, yes, it's a long race, though. It's it's a 75-minute race with 2 mandatory pit stops. The focus now and the attention now is going to be keeping your tyres clean, making sure you're not having too many offs, keeping the track limits down, obviously, and just save that fuel. What you need to do here as well, going into Kemmel Straight. In theory, in a perfect world, you'd want to make the move. It's always a fine line, unless you're being held up significantly by the person in front. An overtake obviously is absolutely needed, but also use traffic to your advantage as well. The pros will be trying to use the pro-ams and the ams to their advantage as well if they do get round to lapping them. They might not, obviously, but they may very well do. So that's something you need to take into consideration. You'll be using a bit less fuel there. Fuel calculation is so key. Ultimately, though, and we see this a couple of times, haven't we, is you've got to make sure that when you do fuel, you've got to make sure you fuel for the end of the race.
Yeah, we've seen some people just missed out before. We've seen people overfuel. And in fact, I remember, I think it was last week, people were commenting that they overfueled. And that was a big issue as well, because even if you overfuel for an extra lap, you're looking at a couple seconds extra in the pits. And with the game of margins as it is around here, that's a struggle. And that is an issue. You lose that. I'm not going to toot my horn, but when it comes to that, we just had Daytona in IMSA for iRacing, and it's surprising the number of people and the amount of time I would gain because I worked out the fuel over other people, thinking I'm not sure and going a lap extra. To the point where I may have had to quickly fuel save just to make sure I was safe and not sputtering at the line. But some people indeed would be like losing a couple seconds on me just because, oh, hang on, I've just not taken enough fuel. So that's crucial. Like we said, endurance pits, we cannot stress that enough. Endurance pits, it is the longest pit stop in motorsport. It has to be the longest pit lane in motorsport. Somebody tell me a different pit lane that's longer than this. Le Mans isn't longer. That's all I've got. I cannot think of anything different. So, can you think of anything different? I think this is the longest pit lane in motorsport.
I would imagine so. At the end of the day, no, obviously there are longer tracks. I don't think there is, to be perfectly honest.
No, well, that's fair enough for me. Yeah, I know. If we can't think of it, somebody's going to come into the chat in a minute and say something. Fair enough. I would love to see during the break in a minute who chat think is going to win, who they're cheering for. I know we've got some VRT fans, we've got some slow-mo fans, we've got some other fans as well. I think we got some love for Simon Dodd and Ethan Bass as well themselves. That'd be interesting to see. Once again, shout out to Race Anywhere Temps.com for sponsoring the World Series. Always fantastic to look at what they've got. Remember, pre-order to the new Thrustmaster wheel, great sim rig equipment, and monitor stands as well. Always worth giving them a look. And of course, Sim 3D for fantastic pedal rumble kits. I've been looking at them. I'm just saying, been looking at them. I cannot wait. We're going to take a break while we get the second session and the race session, up going. But in about, 8 to 10 minutes, we shall be back, and it will be 75 minutes of Spa and GT3s. Oh, it sounds amazing. Stick with us. We'll be back soon. Hey, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know why I said hey, but welcome again to Absolute Sim Racing. We're here after our little break for the 75 minutes of Spa here at the Race Anywhere World Series. We've had qualifying, as we were just saying, and it is going to be the race very shortly. 90 seconds left of practice. We did see in chat some people cheering. We've got a Denny and Max Let's Go Effect Simulation. Effect doing really well at the moment, and also some of the other guys I'm just watching, the pros, just doing the usual, just driving around, just giving themselves a little bit of dirty air practice at the moment. Instead of pit lane practice, it's dirty air practice, which always promises to be fantastic. So Daniel's just here at the moment. Daniel's here with me. We're getting ready. We've kind of, I'm not going to say, Dan, what are we expecting, because we're a broken record. We know what we're expecting. We're expecting slipstreaming. We're expecting, fuel saving. We're expecting a very chaotic start to the race, and then after the first pit stop, it splits open. What type of car are you looking forward to see win here today? I think that's the best one, because every different car at the moment, apart from the Mercedes, looks very strong.
Oh, I've got a soft spot for the Porsche. I like the Porsche. There's something about it which I'm always a Porsche fan. I have always been a Porsche fan since I can remember, and that is extended into the sim world. If there's a Porsche that I'm available to drive, I will like to drive it. That's pretty much sort of how my this. I mean, to be fair, I just want a good race. That's what I want to see. I want to see a good race. If I can see a good race, we can have a good race, then I'm down.
Well, let's be serious at the moment. I mean, we have had a couple incidents in a few races, but we had a fantastic Le Mans. We had a great Road America. Even Interlagos, for how chaotic that narrow track is, was fantastic. So, the standards going up and up and up. So it's going to be interesting. Of course, you just see with the qualifying, Alex Bennett is in pole, followed by Nick Labiche, Martin Nedgelik and Alex Gao in the second row, Nick Madsen and Kaz Huguenot third row, Stuart Reynolds and Frederick Podchest will be 7th and 8th. Harry Wills is 10th. I've got to bring up Augusto Calasimi there in 9th. Harley Horton 11th. Max Furtwängler in 12th. We're going to go quickly through these, as you can understand, when it comes to the classes. So we'll just throw down the rest of the pros, and then for the pro-ams, it's going to be Cody Pry, as you just see there, leading the way with Alvin Schelberg. Ethan Bass and Thomas Reiter will be 3rd and 4th, respectively. Will Richardson and Daniel Sedgley, 5th and 6th. And then it is going to be Chris Wally and Eric Benson. And then the rest you see there in the amateurs. Sir Simon Dodd is there in pole position with Frederick Droy. Taya Sauerhood, the championship leader, is there in P3. David Meekin is 4th. Lima Hearn is 5th. And Magna Yonlund is 6th. And slowly we'll go through them, because, again, the amateurs, a lot of amateurs, and it's always close racing in the amateurs. But it's just amazing to just see the cars, the speed. At the qualifying, probably the closest qualifying we've seen this season. So, as we wait to them, they are now starting their procession. It's going to be a long procession. Remember, we are talking endurance pits here, and we are talking the endurance layout. So, that means on one situation, the start line is not after the bus stop, so it is actually after La Source, which it throws things up differently, because that means it's going to be a slow rundown into Eau Rouge, but kind of a safer rundown, I think.
100%. 100%. It is safer. Well, I mean, it's safe in one respect, because you haven't got a braking zone, but you've then got Raidillon and Eau Rouge. So, no, you're not travelling as fast through Raidillon and Eau Rouge, but your tyres are ever so slightly colder. I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but it's surprising how much of a difference even that little thing would make. But yeah, we're going to go through La Source, and then we will get cracking. Tell you what, though, have a look. I can just see the Pro-Ams behind as well. So we're going to spend a little bit of time on the pros, and then we're going to have to very quickly move back to the Pro-Ams.
Yeah, it's going to be a very quick thing. We want to make sure that we don't miss anything going up the hill. But here we go for 75 minutes. Alex Bennett is going to lead them off with Nicholas de Beach. He gapped them a little bit, and his Conrad Sim Racing teammate there, right behind him, Martin Nedgelik, is going to take P2. Conrad Sim Racing will lead them up, and they got the hill, and look at that. Nice and clean. Everybody in a single file. and nothing's going to happen. We'll have to wait to see what happens. There is one car going wide, that's Stuart Reynolds, but the Pro-Ams are just about to start.
They certainly don't. You know what? They've gone already. Cody Pride's going nice and early as they come down. Like I said, we are going to drop back to the pros in a few moments, but we've got to get through everyone at the start. Someone's going to go side by side. That's a brave move between Daniel Sedgley and Will Richardson. They will manage to go single file, though. Chris Wally has actually had a bit of a moment. He's gone slightly wide. That has cost him a bit of time. It's cost him several positions, actually, straight on the word go. That's not going to be what the number 28 Eclipse Racing Team driver wanted. It's still going to kick off up and down the order. Oh my goodness, chill out guys, it's just the start of the race. Got to be nice and careful. And here we go now for the AM category.
Yeah, into the AM category. Simon Dodd's going to be leading the way. There has been a few incidents in the pros. We'll bring you to that. And Thomas Dandridge, looks like there's a big incident happening. Actually, yeah, 3 cars off at the Lake Coombe at the moment for the Pro-Ams. But we're watching this right now with the amateurs. Simon Dodd's going to be leading them into the Lake Coombe. And there's going to be a little bit there. Look at the cars at the back here. As he laps him up. Bailey trying to get into the inside. That is the 87 of Mangum Yongland, and there's 2 wide behind as well in the amateurs. It's all going on through Malmedy. Can Ingo Lapsian hold on to that? He cannot. Where do you look at the moment? Where do you look?
Well, this is the thing. You've got 3 cars. That was about 50-odd drivers. So, you know, it's a hell of a lot to look at. Like, so we're going to bring you a few replays in a few moments. Yeah, not ideal, like I said, with some of the incidents that we've seen, but you've got a lot of cars trying to settle themselves down further back up into the pro field, because the AM category has sort of settled down relatively quickly. Pro field instead really is sort of hotted up as they come down into the bubble. Someone sent it round the outside. Who was that? That was Sean Campbell. Oh my goodness, Sean Campbell round the outside going through into the bus stop. Couldn't quite make it stick. No, gave it a good old go though. Managed to, well, he get certainly points for effort there. Didn't quite work out in his favour, but Sean Campbell's already made up 4 positions. So he's moving forward pretty aggressively, which is good to see. It's what we like. But firm but fair racing, which is absolutely fantastic from our side. We are going to have a couple of, we are going to go through and have a couple of replays in a few moments, one of which is Danny Raid. So let's just have a look at what happened here. This is coming down through into Pouon. Is it just cold tyres and it just upsets the balance of the car? There we go. Yep, probably a little bit too aggressive on the steering. It's very easy to do. And manages to just about keep it out of the barrier. That's absolutely fine. And then Svenja Matheson. Is this going to be a similar thing? It's going to be on entry by the looks of it this time. Over the curb. Car has a bit of a twitch. I tell you what though, Matheson, he recognised it early. Why, that was close. Wowzers. There we go. Manages to get it all sorted and checked though.
Oh!
That was close. Whoa.
Just as we go back to the pros, Stuart Reynolds gets a little bit of a tap from the back of Harley Horton. And he just goes sending to Harley Horton. Unfortunately, a little bit of a mistake there, just tapping a driver just as we went live, and he's going to be climbing up the order, but that's not what we want to see. Martin Nedvik also had an issue at the start of the race. I think a couple other people had a little bit of touching going into Lake Coombe. Look at David Meakin then trying to make up some places here. He's made up quite a few places, it looks like. Dare I say something may have happened in the Pro-Ams, because he'd gone up a place there. And he was P4 at first, so got to see what's happening there with Mark Bailey. Oh, hello, guys! Don't go free wide! Don't go free wide! And it's caused the chaos! And that is Mark Bailey off! Not sure why anyone's thinking free wide there. And Bailey's off, and that's still 2 wide. And then Sauer trying to get on the inside of No Name. And he makes it stick. But that is all a bit chaotic there. Side by side with Edison Maniera. Can he get the late break into Pouon? He cannot. Maniera holds on to it. A little bit of a touch there. A little bit of a swiggle there on the GT there, that BMW. But what on earth did we just see? Free wide going to Brussels. Chill out, lads. Chill out.
Not ideal, is it, when you're just starting out? Look at this, heading Hague, and that is Ashraf El Haddad that are going to go side by side. The sister car to Harry Wills' Mercedes manages to stay ahead of the Audi as they come onto the exit. Yes, action kicking off all over the place. Day one of the race at the sort of the further up the field, the slightly is the Cody Pride and Albin Kjellberg. They've been sort of battling. They've extended a 1.6 second lead on Thomas Reiter in 3rd place. But they're sort of plodding along. They're not really racing too much. I wonder if Kjellberg is trying to save fuel straight away, as we have spoken about beforehand. Mark Bailey has had a moment. What's happened here? Actually, do you know what? I think he's just had another possible spin. Maybe he has some steering damage. We'll have to see. Dylan Kinch has actually had a slow start. What has happened with Dylan Kinch there? Haddad has actually gone off as well, so that's happened a little bit further back. You can just see there. I'm guessing that was just a little bit too far on exit curb. But what happened to Dylan Kinch? Because Dylan Kinch lost a couple of positions there. Actually, only lost... no, sorry, apologies. No, he went up the inside of Ingo Lapson. So that's the position there. So manages to hold it on the inside. Around the outside even. So, yes, Dylan Kinch goes around the outside of the number 31. In the number 31. So he has made up a position. And he's now actually pulled a gap. Pulled a couple of tenths.
Yeah, all of a sudden, this whole thing is just changing. Because we were expecting a lot of fuel saving, but everyone is just trying to get positions. And you can see Jonathan Assen there, just in the back of that queue, had his car just pointed in the way of maybe I want to make a move here, but he decides against it. A lot of these guys just doing this, and the amateurs, middle of the amateur field, just having this little bit there. You can just see that car there. That is Johan Assen. It's already oh no! And he makes the move on Edson Manguera. They come together, and this is just a little bit sloppy from what we've seen there. Corners are not there, and people are just trying to make the moves, and it is just going a little bit too hectic. I think the driver's just getting a little bit too frantic. They know the situation around here. I think what's happening is they're just getting, I wouldn't say panic, but they're getting a little bit flustered. And here comes Stuart Reynolds. Is that going to be too much? They're trying to avoid the off-track at Stavelot. Oh, that's quite a way to avoid it there. It almost looks like he just didn't turn. Well, that's Manguera off again. Now, what's happened here? It's a short count. Oh, no. Oh,
Why?
no, and that was Poches. That was Frederick Poches, wasn't it?
I think that was. Yes, absolutely. That was Poches. Let's just have a look from Poches' point of view. Whoa, that was a hefty hit. Whoa, that was a hefty hit indeed. Wowzers. I mean, to be fair, I don't really think there was much that could have been done there. I think just like that Poches just got a little bit too aggressive. Maybe just lost it on the way in, cold tyres, possibly. It's a shame. It's a big shame. Oh, hello. Harry Wilson's having a bit of a look. Trying to have a look at a bit of Harley Horton. Trying to go round the outside. Can't quite get it. But, whoa, Horton goes off track. That's going to leave him a bit of room. So he has to. He will take an off track for that. But that means that Harry Wills has to then slot back in. So, Harley Horton cannot, at this moment in time... Harley Horton is doing a very good job of defending from the Twisted Racing Mercedes-Benz. At the moment, I tell you, Harry Wills, though, he's made up 2 positions. Doing quite well at this moment. See if he can keep up that momentum. He has, though, keeping on, he's got Victor Yaron just a few, well, just a tenth and a half behind. And I'll tell you what, that's going to be actually his view. Not the particular view that you would have wanted, I'm sure. You don't technically want to port that Porsche that close to the back bumper. But that's something that Harry Wills has got to manage for. Down in the Pro-Am category going through. Oh, no, someone nudged. That was Dean Timms, I think, had a nudge on Haddad. Oh, that's not good, I'm sure. Haddad will not be impressed with that at all. And Henry Haig manages to sort of luck out of all of that, and he carries on and continues. Yeah, that was a little bit cheeky there, I think. So let me just let's just see if we can get a replay of that. So here comes, yeah, Dean Timms just goes a little bit too deep into the braking zone. Someone else spun there. I think it was Dylan Kinch that had a moment. So that's cost him a fair few places. He's now down to P16 in the AM category. It's all kicking off. It is all kicking off. It's a long old race, gentlemen. Take it nice and easy. Yeah, 9 minutes in. That's a lot of. It's certainly it's a busy one, I think, isn't it? To be fair.
They're just panicking. It does feel like they're panicking. That they're not thinking about the long game here. That they're trying to feel that they need to get ahead here. And I think some people just understanding where they are. But I mean, you can go too wide into Lake Combs. We just see him move here. This is Dylan Kinch having them spin here. Did he catch it on the grass, I wonder? Or did he just take the inside too much speed? Way too much speed and tried to slow it down. And the back just kicked out there on the Lamborghini. But it's just one of these tracks where I just think to myself, you can take it too wide at Lake Coon. You can take it too wide at Bruxelles. But you've got to make the move stick. And I just feel like there's no gaps being left. The respect was there last week. And I just don't feel that there's much respect at the moment. There you go. Daniel Reiter. Oh, hello, Ethan Bath. Well, don't eat my words, Ethan, there. That was right to Lady Daniels essentially through with the slipstream, and then even Fast thought there might be a little gap here and almost took each other out. I'm going to eat my words. I'm not going to say anything anymore.
It was nearly, wasn't it? It wasn't too far away. You know, I mean, it's close. It's certainly close for comfort, but, you know, everyone's still managing to... everyone's still managing at the moment. I think it has started to settle down now, to be fair. So, Chris Wally is now in the pits. I wonder why that is so. Francois Petrel has actually had a moment. What has happened here? Whoa! Okay, that was an interesting... What on earth happened there?
What?
From the Delta Blue number 27. Oh, my goodness. Can we get an earlier... Can we get an earlier replay of that? Yes, we can. Oh, just lose it on the braking and then whoop, there we go. Wow, I mean, kudos to avoidance. That could have been nasty for several drivers. Unfortunately, I think that would be the end of Pedro's race. To be perfectly honest, I can't say I've seen that before. Just looked to be a little bit, a bit wayward on the brake. The Porsche is tricky on the brakes. The Porsche is tricky on the brakes, I will admit. So that could be obviously the cause there. Ethan Bass, he's saving some fuel. You can see him just trying to sit behind, I think, at this point of Thomas Reiter. Playing the long game. Again, he's got Will Richardson just behind. So Victor Young has actually just passed Harry Wills. So we're going to see a replay of that. I'll tell you, I thought the Will Richardson was going to have a bit of a look onto Ethan Bass then. But Bass goes round the outside. He's going to get squeezed a little bit. Oh, he's got to be careful. But that's right, it gives him the space. Is he going to try and do it around the outside? He's going to give it a good old go, though. Unfortunately, it's not going to work because the inside line has got better traction. Bit of a small brush there as people... Oh, hello. This is going to be interesting. Please take it nice and easy, chap. They're going to go side by side down. Whoa! Ethan Bass. I'll tell you what, he gave it a good old go. He wasn't going to let out. And, you know, for a moment there, I didn't think that Reiter was going to either. Here comes Kelberg versus Cody Pride just a little bit further up the field. So what is going to happen? Is it going to be? Kelberg now goes ahead of Cody Pride. So that's a position. I wonder if he had a bit of a pace there from Danny Raitt in the Porsche just behind that train there. I wonder if he took a bit of slipstream and then got the overspeed going down into the chicane. Either way, very, very good stuff. A couple of replays for us to have a look at then in terms of positions for sure. But yeah, good moves. It's close. It's still certainly close, but everyone's now started to give each other a bit more racing room now.
I mean, I'm confused what's happening at the moment. Everything's going on. Here we go. Victor Young here trying to make a move. That is on Harry just around La Source there. That's a pretty good move. They're pretty simple. If we get some more overtakes going on at the moment. I mean, everything's just so chaotic at the moment. And hell, this is not free wide, is it? This is
it
free
was
wide.
Free wide. It was free wide. That was the move over for Kelberg.
Wow, and that is Kelberg. Fantastic there from Albin. Great little move. Yeah, I don't know where to look at the moment. Like, here's the amateur battle. We haven't looked at the top of the pros. The top of the pros are just, they're just doing what they do. That they're in a formation. Here's the battle as well. Again, the amateurs. Now everything's calmed down a little bit. Ingo Lapsium, Werner S, Tess Stauerberg, and Henning Haig as well. Just all keeping it very simple. Porsche, a BMW, a Lamborghini, all just having their way. And of course, then an Audi at the back as well. They're all just keeping it calm. This is what we expected to see. And we've seen a lot of calamity at the front. And remember, as we always say, that timing tower, if it's yellow, it's less than a second. If it's orange, it's less than half a second. And I am surprised to see so much white at this stage of the race. We're not even 15 minutes into the race. And we're already looking at, so many big gaps. And then you've got to factor in any damage from any contact as well. Looks like Sauerhug might have a run here on Werner. He has to lift a little bit through the start of Blanchimont, and there you go. And that lift may just allow him to, and he's lifting even more. And he's had to defend now against Henning Haig. Henning Haig looks like he wants to make it. Nope. Henning Haig does the exact same thing. So they are just giving themselves the room. They are keeping it nice and calm. And that is what we expected to see. And actually, I don't think we've seen any overtake in the bus stop yet, which does surprise me. We had that, we had an overtake that then put somebody straight into the wall, and that was Pochette just going for a little bit of a slide there, but not seen anything else. And that is Svenny Mathiasson now making a move himself. So there are moves all going on, but like we expected, like Dan was saying earlier today, it is overtakes going into Macomb. It's overtakes going into just those heavy braking points after the long straights. And I'm just keeping my eyes, by the way, on Sauerberg and S. We're about to see that move happen. Sauerberg is going to take that position. And here's a replay of Cody Pry making another move. And, oh, that's some late braking. But you can do that in the Porsche.
That's why I like the Porsche. It's good on the brakes. It's all well and good being fast in a straight line, but nothing compared to what you can do in the braking. The braking is where it is at. It's always the case. Always the case. So, as we come down now, we've got 15 minutes already in, an hour left to go. It's still a long way. We haven't even got through the first round of pit stops yet. The first round of pit stops probably aren't too far away, but ultimately, though, they will be coming through in a few moments. Will Richardson actually pass Thomas Reuters? Let's have a quick look at that battle as well. This is going down out at the end of the Kemmel Straight. Again, up the inside, takes slipstream, jobs are good, and Bob's your uncle. That is it. Nothing more to say about that. That was clean, that was textbook, gave each other racing room. That's what we can ask for, really. That is, I mean, realistically, an overtake. That's just a clean, basic, straightforward overtake. There's no mess, no fuss, there's no cutback. It's just a solid, clean move, and that has now extended. It's still not there. It's a couple of tenths between those two in that battle, so let's keep an eye on that and see how it develops. But at the moment, yeah, talking about the pros, I think this is exactly what we were going to see from the pros here, to be perfectly honest, because we have seen Satag has actually just cut past Ers as well. Again, it seems that Ers had a little bit of a slow run going up Blanchimont and Radion, which has cost that move. Well, hey, that was close, but it's all okay now. From that on camera, it looked like he was just coming down, but it seems to be okay at the moment. So, yeah, as you say, battle sort of up and down the field. I'm noticing a lot of people getting off tracks, and we've noticed this. It's coming up on my on the event planner here, on the event tracker. So a lot of things, people still not 100% used to their to everything at it stands at the moment. I wonder if this is going to be possibly side by side. No, it's not, and instead, Lapsian manages to stay ahead, but Soundtag is really pushing forward. Look at the gap he's pulled on S already, and he's only about half a second now away from another position move. But what's going to happen here? Side by side now between Henning Hagen and Werner S. Audi versus BMW, German versus German. Who is going to come out on top? It is going to be Henning Hagen. So, Werner S. is losing positions left, right, and centre. He's lost twice now in that position. He might even lose one more because Dean Timms is looking pretty racy. He might try and have a look as well.
Yeah, Dean Timms may look for a move, but he's also got to think about the championship battle right here. Sauerberg is ahead of him, a second and a half ahead of him. As much as he'd like to be ahead, it'd be nice if he just stayed with him, so he doesn't need to rush this. Remember, we've only had 18 minutes here, so you've just got to take it easy. And Dean realises that situation. I think Dean as well, he was unable to attend qualifying at the start, the back of the field, and he's making up the places. Officially, 13 places overall he has made up in this race. And you can just see the dirty air just really just hampering him a little bit there with Werner S. And it will be double dirty air when you think about it, because then he's got Henning Hagen in front. So, of course, that means he gets a double toe, which is what he wants. But can he make the move? Because if he pulls out of that toe, Werner S. will get that toe into Henning Hagen. And then you just think to yourself, maybe I should just stay together. So they're going to stay together. Can Werner make a move this time? But like we were saying, the pros, the top five are just all together. All together. And that's all you need to know. They're all together. It's fantastic to see how they're doing. But nothing will come forward of that until the first pit stop. These are the battles we want to see. Dirty air hampering there, and we go back to them because there's nothing happening. Eric Benson and Chris Chatterton. Now, what has happened to Benson? He had some good times, and he comes down into the source. Did he catch the grass? No. But that's a very wide... Oof. Got a bit too early on the throttle, I think, there, and that has set him up for this very situational move here, and he has to just sit behind now. But he gets it on the slipstream up the hill. Chris Chatterton does give it to him. So Benson needs to just pull back some time on Thomas Reiter, but now he is pulling Chris Chatterton along, and I don't think that's what you want to see. And again, more overtakes down at the Kemmel Straight. Where else? Svenny Mercedes in there going past an Omad Lamborghini. I mean, if I had a penny for every time we saw an overtake at the Kemmel Straight, I might be able to buy myself. I might be able to buy myself some fuel at the pet.
We would be very, very rich at the end of this. I mean, it's a perfect overtaking opportunity. If you want to make an overtake, that's where you are. That's where you need to make it. There's nothing really you can sort of that you can go past with that. We've just seen as well that Sadhaug has got past Lapsian, so let's have a look at that overtake as well. Is it going to be in the same place? Oh, look at that. What a bet. So Sadhaug goes now up the inside. That is moving in, done and dusted. It's very hard to get a cut back there because if that happens, you go slightly wide. You just hold the inside. And then before you know it, you're pulling away, going down into Bruxelles down as you go into the right-hander here. So, heading Hague, you could sort of had a small look, but nothing came of it. Up at the front, though, yes, very much so. Here are the leaders. They have been pretty much like this for the entirety of the race. The only thing, Nick Madsen, he's made up a couple of positions. So, Cass Huguenot has also made up a position. Harley Hornton he's not on the back of this train, but he's the next car down from this train. And he's up 5 positions, done really, really well so far. But again, it's just saving fuel. Let's just ride on board with Nick Labiche and see if we can see. I mean, you could just hear it straight away. We'll have a quick listen for a few seconds just to see, mainly in the braking zone. So what's going to happen coming down? I'm intrigued to hear. So let's have a quick listen. Nothing really too much there. Might not have been the best position to. Might not have been the best place to listen out for that, but you can certainly tell. I mean, otherwise, that the positions would be happening left, right, and centre here. This is the other thing is, yes, these drivers are close, but I can imagine these drivers here, Craig, they're probably driving at about 8/10. I can't imagine they're really pushing too much.
No, I mean, they're doing mid-16s. They're doing 16s, while the others are doing 17s, and Huguenot and Horton as well at the back of this field. Horton, now he's been free, he's doing a 16. He might be the one pushing a little bit here, but all these drivers, they're just giving each other the room. Like we say, I always like to go back to that whole idea of a peloton, and this is a peloton. Alex Bennett is leading the peloton, and he's just saying, we're fine, let's just stick with this pace, we're fine, we'll just get to Paris, then we can go and do our lap around the Champs-Elysees, and that's what's going to happen. I know it's far. Hey, they did the Tour de France here, so that's a good analogy there. But you understand they're just keeping their pace here. They don't have to push. They understand that even if Huguenot Harley Horton, does catch onto them, they're not worried. Harley might be the one that wants to get to the front of this pack, but at the end of the day, these guys are just here, just relaxing. And when it comes to the first pit stop, maybe the second pit stop, that's when it starts to get into, I'd say, game time, as they would say in America. We're getting a little bit serious. So all these guys are just going to keep it nice and clean. I wouldn't expect to see, the only time you see an overtake here is if somebody makes a small mistake. Victor Yowen is going for the interesting pit stop here. This is a very early pit stop for Victor Yowen, isn't it?
Maybe nursing some previous damage. Possibly.
He might be, yeah. Oh, yeah, he has retired, so it must be some damage. So that must be some damage there for Yowen. So that is unfortunate there for Victor. So that is another driver down for the count. So that leaves us with 10 pros in this very packed field at the moment. 11, sorry, because Danny Retz is still out there. Just had a few issues. So while that is going on, you're not missing a lot. Like I said, you can see the pro-ams. A lot of yellow in the pro-ams. It's something I was not expecting. You've got that battle between Cody Pride and Alvin Kelberg. You've got Richardson and Reitzer as well having a battle. And that's really about it. Chalice and Mathiasen as well. But I'm really shocked at how spread out the pro-ams are. Because usually that's the closest field.
I mean, you're right. It's certainly something that, again, it's amazing how it sort of ebbs and flows race per race, doesn't it? Sometimes we see, sometimes we do tend to see that it doesn't really, we've got certain classes that are really close, then others that are not. So yeah, it's good to see the interesting sort of ebb and flow. It's nice to see the development of the classes as well as they go. This is one of the closer battles in the Pro-Am category, although this is an even closer battle coming through here. So Werner S has actually lost another position, possibly to Dean Timms. The move is already done. So is Henning Haig on. That is Ingo Lapsin. So Ingo Lapsin loses another position, so that's done and dusted. And then Dean Timms gets past Werner S as well. Again, it could be a tactical move from Werner S if he just wants to sit behind, just let people come through. Maybe he's running his own race. He just wants to, push on at his own pace, and maybe he's trying to save a bit more fuel than others. Could be a bit of detrimental because he might be losing a little bit too much pace if that is what he's trying to do. He also may be nursing a bit of damage as well. That some of the curbs here are pretty aggressive, so if you do run over them, you might have a little bit of a problem and some small bit of damage. Couple of other, there's some overtakes happening in. Well, the only reason I've actually just come up that Harry Wills has made an overtake was purely just because of Victor Young that went in the pits. So as it stands, Chris Chatterton though is looking pretty aggressive, along with that is Eric Benson. Do you know what? That's a battle that's sort of trying to kick off. Nothing at the moment, but again, there's some simmering battles here. There's nothing really there's the odd overtake here and there, but there's nothing that's really sort of aggressive as it stands. It's all just still, I think it's much more relaxed than we have seen previously, which is good, especially, it's a world different from the start of the race, absolutely. Albin Kjellberg at the front is still just holding back from Cody Pride, so, I would not expect wouldn't be surprised if a position change happened in maybe not the first pit stop, but you may find the second pit stop. As soon as the second pit stop happens, you're going to see Kjellberg, if he can get the pit stop right, you're going to see him drive away, I reckon, to the distance. He's going to pull maybe 2-3 seconds on Cody Pride, purely because he'll be able to save so much more fuel. Even if Cody Pride is saving fuel, won't be as much as Kjellberg.
I'm just thinking as well, because we always say a tank of fuel is about 30 minutes. I'm expecting to see a pit stop this lap. I'm expecting to see, I don't know if we'll see a pro driver do it. Usually one pro driver will take a risk, but most of these guys may just stay together. Alex Bennett may be on his own. That'll be one to keep an eye out for. But I'm expecting, with 48 minutes left, it's either this lap or next lap that we'll start to see. And of course, because the track's so big, you can't you can't go an extra lap around here. It's that lap or nothing. So we'll wait and see. Does any of them come into the pit? I don't see any. So they are going to go another lap. I am wrong. But also, by the way, Harley Horton, we were saying that he is near the back and he is catching up. He's not catching up a lot. It's still 5.4 at the back of that field. So Daniel Sedgley going around Danny Ratz. That is a move for Daniel Sedgley to get onto that. Now, can he hold on to Danny Ratz? No, that's actually at the pro-am. What on earth is going on there? Getting a little bit excited, but that just goes to show that little damage on the back of the wing there for Denny is everything, especially on a track around here, that he had to give that position up around Blanchemont, of all places. But Dean Timms now this is what I was looking forward to, because Dean Timms is now 3 seconds behind Sauerhoek. So it is now recovery drive mode for Timms. He is making a great leaps and bounds through this race, starting at the back, doing a really good drive here. He's middle of the amateur field. That's just where he wants to be at the moment as he continues to go up. He's got Werner F behind. Can Werner F make a move? I'm not entirely sure. But again, like I was saying, when we talk about fuel, it's going to be this lap or next lap, I think. So I might be wrong. It may go +2. But get ready to see the pit stops. And I think that might be the start. Actually, no, look at the pit stops now. 3 of the amateurs. The amateurs are in. Some of the amateurs, all the amateurs almost, are in the pit lane right now. And that's a lot of them. I can't really give the names at the moment. I see a lot of VRTs. I see slow-mos as well. So some of these guys are taking their pit stops. And of course, with 48 drivers, Daniel, some of these guys get to use the GP pits.
Well, this is the other thing as well. Some drivers, it's a bit of potluck, obviously, where your pit stall is actually going to be. But yeah, you're right. Some drivers will be using some drivers are going to be using the GP area of the pit. Some drivers are going to be using the endurance side of the pit. Ultimately, it doesn't really make too much of a difference. It will always stay around about the same in terms of pace. One thing I am going to possibly put down as well is we may see some positions happen on the last lap. Maybe going through, maybe not this particular pit stop, but maybe going into the second round of the pit stop. And I think that's when we're going to see some moves happening. And I tell you what, here it comes. All of the AM drivers pretty much, apart from Alex Gal. Oh, Alex Gal's got an extra lap. That's going to bump him up big time here. Again, might not make too much of a difference at the start, certainly going to make a difference at the end. The first pit stops, again, just going to bring the tank, really. You're going to want to run as fast as much as you realistically can. It's the second pit stop, because the further you travel this and the next stint, the less you have to fill up for the final, before you go on to the final stint. So this is crucial. This is crucial for the VRS satellite number 64. And he's got some traffic as well. Yeah, that could be a hindrance to him. But as long as he doesn't get held up by it too much, ultimately he might even be able to use it to his advantage and save even more fuel without losing any time. Although I think he is far enough ahead. Or he's far enough behind, sorry, for it not to make too much of a difference. Alex Gow's going to be, I reckon this is going to suit him well. Come the end of the race, this is going to suit him very well.
I'm hoping it does, because when we go back to this whole, this is the longest pit lane in motor racing, you've got to remember, you're almost doing 50 seconds in the pits before you get to your box. So you're doing, even on a fuel stop, we're not talking the 24 hours with tyres, looking at a minute 20. And look at that, Nick LaBouche gets ahead of Alex Bennett, and that BMW is going to lead off this pack now. Now, just take it easy up the hill. Don't get an off track. Ooh, that was a close one for Nicholas LaBouche. I think he gets away with it. But Alex Gow here, he will have to pit this time by. He will definitely have to pit. And we wonder what he will do and what he will do. 1 minute 20, roughly. Some of the guys did 1:22. That is the time from cone to cone, from what I've got figured out on my stats here. That is the time you take in the pit. That's a long time in the pit. And you'll start to see some of these positions are a little bit weird. Once everybody pits, everybody knows where they are. Alex Gal, though, he's coming up to the bus stop. He's had no traffic all this time. That's fantastic for him. He does go that extra lap. Now, I am worried, though. Will he have to clutch it down the hill? That's one to pay attention to.
He might do him if he does have to clutch. It's not the end of the world, to be perfectly honest. I don't think it's not going to overly fuss him too much. If anything, it's probably going to be it's going to be better. It means he's timed it absolutely perfectly. The Biche is currently in P2, running at this moment. He is running in second. He's got some good pace. He seems to have had a good outlap. So it is going to be close. It is going to be close, but we'll have to see. Again, as soon as everyone comes through. Harley Horton is now having a bit of a battle with Augusto Cassiami. So we're going to have to see again if a move is made, or again, are we just going to see something on the lines of, saving fuel? Magna Yonlan has just got up the inside of, around the outside of Dave Meakin. So that's a position pretty straightforward, was, to be perfectly honest. There wasn't really much to worry about with that, if I'm being honest. The slow mo upnode Ultra number 87 makes the position, no mess, no fuss. Ola Sankfis actually passed, so he's just gone into the pit, so he was passed by Edson Manguera. So, positions happening again just because of the fuel stop, so that's something there. Alex Gal is still in the pit lane. Where is Nick Labiche? There is Labiche there. Oh, it's going to be close. When are we going to see Alex Gal move out? Has he left yet? He has left. Oh, it's going to be close. It's not going to be enough. No, it's not. But I believe... Has it actually helped? Do you know what? I don't think it has. I'm going to completely eat my words here. The gap has extended.
He spent an extra 3 seconds in that pit box.
Oh, repairing some damage.
And look at all this. He's losing more position. That is Huguenot and Madsen going by. And look at the gap between Huguenot and Madsen. It's 2.5 seconds. So I don't think that's worked out there for Alex. I think something must have happened, because that Ferrari is fantastic. Now, Harry Wills is going to get a little bit held up here. That was Gosco kind of see me going to side him, and he makes that move, and Wills just has to slot in there as Harley Horton just continues to pull away. They are 14 seconds behind these drivers, by the way. Behind Alex Go and Madsen and Huguenot, but that mistake there, isn't it a mistake from Alex Go? That's very strange to see that much time lost by going an extra lap. But like we said, he went longer with the fuel as well. That's 3 seconds longer, so that's an extra lap, I would say. He might go +2. Watch Alex go +2 at the end of this race, I reckon. And that may help him in the long run, because then If he goes +2, less fuel to pull in at the end, he might get that time back. So that's one to keep an eye out for. But Harry Wills right now, that boat, as he describes it, the car that I always like to joke that he sandbags, he's not doing too bad at the moment, in all due honesty.
No, he's not. No, very, very true. Very, very true. I hate to break it to you, but we've had Ethan Bass has had an incident. Bass has had an incident. Let's have a look at the replay here. Is it? Oh, it's coming into the bus stop. Is it going to be just a bit of rotation? I think it might be. You can see it went a little bit sideways there. Whoa, hey, there. Whoa, wow. Fair play avoidance there. Couldn't quite see who that was. I think that might have been Kelberg. I mean, well, it was an incident. It was just more of a spin. Manages to sort of save it as well with minimal time loss, but time loss nevertheless. So that has now put Ethan Bass into P4. It's not the end of the world, but he is around about 6 seconds now away from Albin Kelberg and Cody Pride. So something he certainly didn't want. It's, 35 minutes have gone, 30 minutes, 40 minutes even still remain. So, yeah, realistically, there's certainly time to bring that back. We will have to see if it can be brought back. That is the big question. Further up the field, though, you have got Nick Madsen versus Cass Huguenot. Is it? No, Cass Huguenot is saving some fuel, as I imagine Alex Gal will now be. I wonder if it was just Gal repairing some damage.
I don't know. It just seems really weird. But like I said, when you've got Nicholas de Beach doing 3 seconds less in the pits, Alex Bennett doing 2 seconds less, Huguenot doing a second less, and the rest of them doing 23s, 22s, it does seem weird that that difference. Now, Alex is in the Ferrari. We always say the Ferrari used to be the top speed around here, so that'll be one to keep our eyes on. That Alex may be able to just make up some time here. Maybe work with Huguenot, work with Madsen. Maybe they can get by. Maybe they can just pull themselves together, because really, at the moment, the Beach is on his own. He is checked out at the moment. 2 seconds ahead of Alex Bennett. So maybe Huguenot, Madsen, and Gal can get with them. But again, 36 minutes gone, with 38 minutes to go. Anything can happen. We're coming to that halfway point. And I'm just wondering now, is this where people are just getting a little bit complacent, and now the tiredness comes in with that run from Henning Hay. What a run from Henning Hay up the hill on El Haddad there. And that is just going to give him, that is going to give him that position. He moves up the order. He continues. He's got Haddad there. And can I just say, we haven't talked about it, and I really shouldn't talk about it. I'm knocking on wood as I'm talking about it. So Simon Dodd's still in the lead. It's just been a quiet race for Simon Dodd.
He's been just plugging away, doesn't he? Number 49 for the Eclipse Racing. Teammates with Dean Timms. Currently, Dean Timms is in P12. Not the best race that we've seen from Dean. Not the best performance, but again, he sort of jumped into it, not being in qualifying, and so I'm going to take that back. Considering he's not actually been from, he wasn't involved in qualifying. He certainly he has really started pushing forward and started moving up the field, which is great. Simon Dodd, he's just been running where he needs to. He's got he's got a 4.3 second gap on Frederick Devoy. So, I mean, you can't argue with it, can you? There's still a long way to go. It's not over. It's not out of the woods yet. But, Nick Madsen, well, hey, that's going to be a bit of an interesting one, chaps. And it manages to go through. Couldn't quite see who that was. I think it was a lapped car there. But Nick Madsen goes up the inside of Cass Huguenot. Let's have a quick look at the overtake here. Oh, that was close. 3 wide for a brief moment there. But Madsen up the inside in that Ferrari on Cass Huguenot. I wonder if Alex Gow's going to try and follow him through maybe next lap, or again, he's going to pull back and try and save the fuel. We will have to see. But ultimately, though, good move there. A couple of other moves that we have seen. Will Richardson actually passed Danny Rates, but that's a battle that's not for position. Assen passed Gisecki. I wonder if that was going through into the pits. I don't think it was. So let us have a look at that position there as well. Oh, again, coming down at the end of the Kemmel Straight. What a surprise. But again, perfect overtaking opportunity. I wonder as well, though, if Gisecki had a slightly slow run, may have had a slow down or something of the like, and that caused him to drop back a little bit. You see him, there was no contesting through that at all, which is understandable. I think, to be fair, when you've got someone that close and they've got to run, it's not probably worth it, to be fair.
Now, sometimes it's just better to just give that position away, slot into the back, and just make that move at a later date. Alex Gal, though, I thought he was going to make a move, But the moment he comes out of Blanchimont, I noticed that he's slower. So I don't know if that was him just being a little bit slower off the pace. I tell you what, though, that is Alex Bennett having a mistake at the bus stop, and this may set things up. This could actually hold them up. Do they just all slot in here? I think they're just going to keep it safe. I think they realize that he made the mistake, but it's better for him to just keep that lead of the group, especially being a Ferrari. It's just got a little bit more speed than that Lamborghini. I think I'd still prefer the Lamborghini in this situation, but you've got an Italian parade at the moment. That is a Ferrari, a Lamborghini, and a Ferrari going up Eau Rouge into Raidillon. And now, when you think about it, 33 laps is roughly what we're going to be seeing. It's all to play for. It's all to play for at the moment. Leaders are so far ahead. You've got the leaders of the Pro-Ams currently far ahead as well. It's all going on. It is all going on at the moment.
It certainly is. You could just see on the rev counter there for Alex Gau's car, you just see when the clutch dipped in. So that is a certain confirmation there that there is some fuel being saved for Alex Gau. He's obviously trying to want to still still run with his fuel saving strategy, as you would, absolutely. Why would you not? So, realistically, this is something that's going to be again a continuation for the remainder of this race. One would imagine, especially when Gau lost that sort of 3 seconds. He's going to have to try and make that up, and the further he can go. Bear in mind, he went an additional lap last time out. Okay. There is no reason to say that he can't go an extra 2 laps this time around. What's happened to Harley Horton? Harley Horton has had a spin. Where is Horton? There he is. Oh, it's on the exit of No Name by the looks of it. Could have actually happened on the entry to No Name, but now he's transitioned through to the exit. We're going to have a look at that, because I'm intrigued to see what happened there. Nick Labiche has had a moment as well at the lead. So as he goes through, so coming down the exit of... Oh, okay. Okay, that's a bit of a tricky one. Oh, that's a hefty hit. He's got some wing damage. He's got quite a lot of wing damage as well. Harley Horton for the full send race, and he sent it certainly into No Name, just a little bit too hard. So that is a big, big game changer for Harley Horton, and now he's got the pressure of Martin Nedgelik already. And you know what? I think it might be a matter of time. It depends on how much damage there is recently on the back of that car. Actually, looking at it, it doesn't look too bad now. Maybe it's just sort of popped back into shape, which, is very realistic and what carbon fibre does.
Oh, it's iRacing, the bendy carbon fibre. It's fantastic to see. That's the way we always expect it. That's how carbon fibre really works in the real world.
Absolutely.
It
crumples
the way
as well.
It crumples as well. As someone always used to say, it's just a simple pop and then it's back out there. But I think he does have a little bit of wing damage. He does still have that wing damage there. So it is going to be horrible when he comes around the source going up Eau Rouge and Raidillon. He'll be fine in terms of downforce. He'll be fine going around the corner. But, look how close Nedgelik gets. That is, if I was in that Lamborghini right now and I look in my rearview mirror and I just see the back of that Lambo as well, that would scare me. But I am now curious. Nedgelik's going to get a little bit of switch.
He's going to make the move, 100%.
Going to have to make the move here, and you'll probably see there won't be any contesting. Horton has that wing damage. He'll probably realise the moment Nedgelik comes by. Actually, Nedgelik's going to save. Wow. Nedgelik's just going to take it. I am surprised at that. Because there was wing damage, and there still is wing damage.
Well, I think maybe just realising that, Harley Horton, he's not going to lose as much position. He's not losing as much time as he thought. I mean, to be fair, he's still got good pace. It didn't look like Nedgelik was all catching him up all that quickly, to be fair. So it's damage, but it's minor. It's not too severe. So, I think we'll just have to see, we'll have to see how that goes, see how that progresses. Again, still quite a lot of people that are having a little, having a sort of, calm before the storm. There's nothing really. The the AM category is open really heavily up. So there's very, very little in terms of sort of close driving at the moment. So everyone's in a position where they're going to have to try and save some fuel at their own rate, which is so much more difficult than when you've got someone in front of you. You can't then lift off halfway down the Kemmel Straight and still be pulled along. You have to, you have to make it going into braking zones this time. This is still a battle that's continuing on. So Madsen, Huguenot and Gal. Well, I say it's the battle. It's a battle in the loosest sense of the word. It is still very much just, follow the leader, essentially. At the moment, the leader is Nick Madsen. Nick Labiche and Alex Bennett are up ahead. Their gap hasn't extended as much as I thought it would. It has extended nevertheless, though. I wonder if it's going to... Yeah, it depends on how much fuel is being saved from Labiche and Bennett. Again, only time will tell. And we'll soon be coming from the second round of the pit stops, of which we're probably about halfway there now. Then we're going to have an understanding. And I imagine, watch the fuse will be lit going through into this next, after the next pit stops and after the next round of pit stops have happened. The fuse will be lit, and then it will all spring into life. We have seen this time and time again, and we always see this as well with racing with pit stops, is as soon as the second pit stop comes or the last pit stop comes around, it then just explodes because people know where everyone else is and they want to then make some positions.
Yeah, and you gotta think about it. Alex Gal, he lost 3 seconds in the pits, and now he's 8 seconds behind the leader, and that just goes to show you what happens with those mistakes. But he's happy staying here because realistically, this is a battle for the last spot on the podium at the moment. So he could save a bit of fuel here. He could go +1, maybe go, like I said, if he went +1 last time, there's nothing stopping him going +2 this time, and that may be a winning move. But if he's the guy at the back of this train, he can do some fuel saving. He can just hold on to the back there, get a bit of fuel. And meanwhile, you look at the fact that Labiche and Bennett, they're probably not pushing hard, but they're still sticking to a delta that they feel comfortable. And at the moment, that delta for them is something under 217, because the rest of the field is not doing anything under 217. You look at Labiche, a 216.6, Bennett, a 216.7, Madsen, a 217.1, Huguenot, 217 flat, and a 217.1 for Alex Gold. So they're not having to work hard at the moment. They're able to, just like I said, just pull back and just look at that gap. That's a lovely camera angle just to show the gap there between the top two, who have basically consistently been 1.9, 1.8 seconds behind in the gap, and then these guys here a few seconds back, and you can just see, I mean, there down the new modern day start finish line, you can't see Labiche and Bennett at the moment, and that is a mistake from Huguenot, but it does not hold up Gal. But at the same time, like, every time one of these guys make a mistake and they just stay together, how much time do they lose? They're not entirely sure.
It's a tricky one. I mean, what you've got to try and do at the moment is, this is very much where you're working together at this point, because you don't want to push too hard. There's no point, because realistically, when you're in a position where you might be losing a little bit more time, it's not worth pressuring the person in front. So giving that additional space is fine. Giving that additional, a little bit more of a gap where you wouldn't necessarily. It removes pressure from the person, from the people that you're driving around and you're driving with. And if you can remove that pressure, then realistically, you're naturally all going to drive, or should in theory, be driving at a more consistent pace. No, that isn't true all of the time, bear in mind, but it still certainly has its, it's certainly something to be credible for. That you don't want to push the car in front. If you're all trying to fuel save and you're trying to lose as little time as possible, what's the point in sitting a tenth behind the person and sitting on their back bumper? There's no real point. It doesn't give you any more in terms of fuel saving. It actually makes things a bit worse because you then have a car that simply takes up more of your vision in front of you. So there's no real benefits here. So, around the 0.3 to half a second mark, I think is a good position here as well. We're seeing this a little bit, down here as well. You've got Chatterton, Dandridge and Hamilton. These gaps here, it's absolutely fine. If we were looking at it from an onboard perspective of Dandridge, which we'll go to in a few moments, we'll be able to see that the gap is enough that you can look ahead as what's going on. There's no pressure to the car in front, and there we go. So you're still getting tow, absolutely. You are getting a bit of dirty air, which you have to manage, but look at that. You can see so far ahead. It is an obstruction, but it's not too much. So, and you just heard Dandridge as well. They're lifting coast. There is a lot of lifting coasting. So, yeah, this is perfect. This is perfect placement, perfect car placement, perfect tactics and strategy, and we're seeing that up and down the field as we go. So,
yeah, it's fantastic to just see as well. And now we go back to Dean Temps. He's trying to. Well, he's on his own at the moment. He does have Manguera though in front of him, and he is just on a Sunday drive. And that was something Ryan Hamilton mentioned earlier today. It was just going to be a Sunday drive for him. Just go around. One of these tracks, it's a nice track to race, but it's a better track to lap, and that's what a lot of these guys are doing at the moment. Just trying to hold in. You see Tim's just struggling with dirty air around there, just making some mistakes. You did see Nedlick go down the order, and we might get a replay of what happened to him shortly, but a mistake there from Nedlick took him a few places down in the pros. But you can just see, again, this is the closest battle well, there was until Tim's made a couple of mistakes. The closest battle in the amateurs, apart from Henning Haag and David Meakin, it's been so spread out for the amateurs, which, yeah, not what we expected. It's not what we expected to see, but they are still just taking their time, just making sure it's just a nice drive. And Ethan Bass has come into the pits. Now, I'm not sure what that's all about. Pit window is open, but that's very early to come in for a pit stop. I've got to be brutally honest, but that may be a stroke of genius for him. We'll wait and see. But as Ethan Bass goes into the pits, there's Dean Temps, and it is a lone world. And now Ryan Hamilton, I think he's going to make a move right here. Is he going to try? He does, and Dandridge lets him by. Now, was that a slowdown there for Dandridge? I don't think it was. I think that literally was just letting him by.
Yeah, I mean, again, is there any point in defending? Probably not. Again, you've got to play the long game. And the long game is just letting people by and then making it up in the pit. It is, you know, from a driver's perspective, it can be a little bit boring. I personally don't mind it. I enjoy it because I like the tactics, I like the strategy. I'm happy to race with people out on track. I'm happy to do it from a tactics perspective. I can do either or. But I can understand the appeal. You're wanting to battle. You're wanting to race people. Absolutely. There is Johan Assen going through past Ethan Bass. Danny Rates has had another incident. Let's have a quick look at his. What's happened? Again, going through into Puon, which is have we seen a couple of times. Well, hey, there goes the car. Does he manage to... okay, fair enough. Whoever was that, well, fair play, well avoided. Oh, he's got quite a lot of cars. Best thing for him to do is just to sit there. That was 100% the best thing to do. A lot of people would panic and then they would try and accelerate and try and get out of the way quick enough. No point. You just sit there, let everyone try and go around you as best they can. If an incident happens, you get tagged. You know, you can't be held really accountable for it because, you know, you span. You know, you spun. There was nothing you really else, you know, could have done after the spin. I mean, the easiest thing to say, don't spin. But sometimes, you know, these things happen. So we saw a perfect executed process there of what to do if you do spin. It was close from all the drivers' avoidance, but they all avoided it. If there was a moving car, so much more difficult.
Well, the terminology I learned from the oval side is called lock it down, and that every time I see somebody having a spin, lock it down. Keep your brakes down. That's keeping your brakes on. Don't have to move. At the end of the day, they cannot blame you for them hitting you if you've locked it down, because you've managed to keep yourself stationary, you're predictable, nothing's going to happen. Lock it down, you're nice and safe. So that is one of the key things. I love that terminology, lock it down. And sometimes the Americans come up with some fantastic terminology here, but this is some good little racing here, good little pack racing just going on at the moment in this battle. Just watching as well, you may see Ryan Hamilton just move up the order quickly as well. Ryan Hamilton making a move, but these three, it's just very quiet. And then there you go, Ryan Hamilton just made that move. I mean, are you going to guess where it happened? Where could it have happened? Of course, it's the Kemmel Straight. And I gotta think to myself, we do talk about how it's probably the longest straight and it's such an easy place for overtaking and braking into Lake Coombe. But a lot of these overtakes are set up by the way you go over Radion, off Eau Rouge and Radion. Sometimes, if you just get the best run, you're gonna get the best run to overtake. It's not a case sometimes of slipstream. It really just is get up that corner well, take it easy. And when we were talking about the new 4-tire rule, that being that you can take a lot more of that inside now at the top of the hill, it allows you to take more speed, and some of these drivers are able to do it even in the dirty S. We saw Hamilton, and this is where he wants to be. He's in a lovely little spot now. He's in P7. I think that's right. Yep, P7 or P8. And hell, Harley Horton, and that's gone again for Harley Horton. And something cannot be right there, and that is, well, that's down at Stavelot, isn't it?
That is on the exit of Stavelot. Yeah, that's on the exit of Stavelot. You are absolutely correct. I wonder, we're going to see if we can sort of have a look at this. So it's just on the curb. I reckon because of the damage, is there a possible bit of aero imbalance? I reckon that could be something that's playing into a factor there. There might be a small amount of suspension damage. We really don't know. I mean, fair play if there is, because Holton has been managing it as best he can. But I wonder if that could be a possibility, that there is a small little bit of suspension damage. You might not be able to feel it through the wheel, but it could very well be there. That is certainly a possibility. Kjellberg is being pressured now quite heavily from Sedgley, but when I say pressured again, I don't think it's not too much pressure at the moment. I think it's just simply, again, some additional, just another car behind, really, and Sedgley's just holding his ground, not making too many moves. Again, there's no point. As soon as the next pit stop happens, off we go. That is absolutely... We've got 20 minutes left. Am not too long at all. And then we will see. But yeah, absolutely. Once the second pit stop has happened, it's all going to kick off. I guarantee it. It's all going to kick off. Especially, you've got Magna Jonland, Henning Haig. Well, I tell you what, Magna Jonland, who got that? That was Liam Hurd. He's got a didn't get the best of runs going down up through Radion. And that's going to be, again, a textbook move. And it's going to be miles before the corner itself going into Lacombe. And Jonland makes the position. Done and dusted. Henning Haig not too far behind.
And that is for the last podium spot. You can see a little bit of sliding from Jonland there. And this may set up a Hearn if he wants it. He does not want it at the moment. But he's not fuel saving. No fuel saving there from Liam Hearn. It looks like he's just going to take this with brute speed. He's not going to look at it. We're 19 minutes left in the race. I'm looking really, the pit window's been open for the last 10 minutes. But I'm looking 1, maybe 2 more laps. And we'll start to see people coming in. And then the likes of Alex Gould. What has he done? He can get a P3 here because the gap is so far ahead now. What can he do? Labiche, Bennett, what can they do? A gap is 1.5 seconds. We'll wait and see. Jonland still battling here. And just look at this group. It's a 3-car battle for P3 in the amateurs. We'd start to see some drivers in the pit lane anyway, but we'll get back to that shortly. These guys in a battle at the moment. Now, we talk about sometimes right at the end of a fuel stint, you want to get that position. Mainly because you just want to make sure that you're ahead in the pit and so you can get ahead out of the pit. That may be what's happening right now. Liam Hearn looking very racy at the moment in that VRT BMW. They'll come around Blanchemont. He doesn't have it. He had to lift because of that dirty air, and he holds up Henning Haig because of it. Now, some of these amateurs went earlier. Are they going to come into the pits? There goes Liam Hearn. There goes Henning Haig. So the pit stops have started. And I'll tell you what, Henning Haig almost hit the wall.
It wasn't too far away, was he, to be very honest? Yes. Unfortunately, not going to be able to get a replay of that. But, yeah, he really was not that far away. As also Sedgley, Benson, Matheson, yes. And it just, like you said, almost the entirety of or at least half of the Anfield are now coming in. The second half of the Anfield, though, they are extending their lead. They're extending their stint, which is good. It means that they have been saving some additional fuel. Few cars leaving the pits. But ultimately, though, we've got a couple more laps now. We'll have probably another lap, and then we'll have the Pro-Ams coming in, and then we'll have the AMs coming in. It's a staggered sort of section like that, which is good to have. So, no one sort of in and out of the pits all at once, and otherwise that becomes wildly confusing. Nick Labiche, though, interesting. So Nick Labiche, he has not been fuel saving at all, is he? Because he's come in just a lap after the AM category, so he is really pushing to try and get that gap. I mean, realistically, the gap that he had was around about 8 seconds or something ridiculous like that. So the gap is certainly there. Is this going to cost him? It's going to cost him a few seconds naturally. But is it going to be I can't imagine that would be phasing him too much, because he'll still probably come out of the pit stop with, around, once everyone's pitted, probably still about 5 seconds in hand.
We'll wait and see. I'm just really curious because, granted, they were not with each other. Him and Bennett, they were not racing. There was a big gap between them. But it's interesting that he's gone early, because Bennett, I don't think Bennett's been saving. They've both been matching each other with the delta, matching each other with the times. That is going to be one to look for here. This battle here, this again, Madsen, Huguenot, Gall, for this last place on the podium, the overall podium and the pro podium when you think about it. 10 seconds between them and Alex Bennett, so, unless something horrible goes wrong, I can't see them getting all of them on the podium. But it is going to be a battle, and like we said, Madsen, Huguenot, they may pit before Gall. Alex may decide he wants to go in. The pit stop's happening this lap. whether I'm right or wrong, I'm right. The pit stop's going to happen this lap. At least one car's going to pit. It all comes down to which one will pit. By the way, the beach does come out, and he's now at Lake Coombe. Alex Bennett will have to come around again. We'll wait to see what he does. It all comes down to those low positions. I always love pit strategy battles, Dan. This is why I love this series, because anything can happen when it comes to a pit stop here. A race can be won and lost on a pit stop. And that is what got me into endurance racing. That is what got me into stuff like oval racing. I cannot wait to see. Does Bennett come in? That's him coming in. The chase is on. Get ready for the slowest race that you will see. It really is the slowest race possible. And do you know what behind them? Here comes Madsen. Here comes Huguenot. And oh, who's going +1? It's Alex Gull.
He's going to be going +1, but is he going to be going +2? That is the key thing. If he has saved enough fuel, no reason why he can't. We will have to see. So carbon copy what he did first time out. This could and this should give him the track position on both Huguenot, and Madsen. Don't know what I was trying to say there, but we all got it in the end. Everyone else has started to sort of open up at the moment. Werner S has now gone up into P2, so he's sat there. Everyone has, actually, that'll be why, because he's not made his second pit stop. So that would be why that he is now up into P2, so he will drop down the order a little bit. But Alex Gull is the only AM driver now currently that has not pitted for their second stop. Bennett, Madsen, Huguenot, Cassiami, Kelberg, Wills, Nedelik are all in the pit. Here comes Nick Labiche. Where is he going to be? Where is Bennett going to be, more importantly, because he was able to go another lap. Yes, he will have some pace at least, but I don't think it's going to be all that much. It's not going to be in vain. There is, actually, do you know what? Blimey, look at that. Alex Bennett has actually got it ahead. Oh, this is going to be close. What's going to happen with Labiche? Here comes Nick Labiche. He's going to get it, I think, but it's going to be close. It's going to be very close, in fact. Here's the overrun, so it's going to be a done deal. It depends on which way he can go. There he goes. So Alex Bennett does come out, but more importantly, he is going to be within the tow. Because there is Alex Bennett there. He's only 6 cents behind. He needs to try and gear, but he's got to switch his tyres on so fast at this point. And you know what? I think that's because Labiche has got a little bit wide. Labiche has lost a bit of time. That's crucial. That could be crucial. Do you know what? I think Bennett's done this absolutely spot on. He's 8 tenths behind us. That's exactly what he needed. Because if he can stay here, then he's going to get pulled along.
I don't know what's happened between Huguenot and Madsen, because Huguenot's got a 7-second lead over Madsen. No idea what's happened there. So that's one to be keeping an eye out as well. But Labiche and Bennett, very crucial. Bennett managed to save a second in that pit stop when it came there, because the gap between before that was about 1.5 seconds. So fantastic work there from Bennett to get that entry, to be aggressive in the in lap.
He's got another lap.
Here comes Alex Gull. He's got +2.
Yes.
And I called it. What did I say? I said +2. Alex Gull is rolling the dice. He is the high roller today. What a drive! I mean, forget about where he comes. To go +2, to basically go +1 and then +1. That is some driving from Alex Gull. Can he pull it off? We'll wait and see. And now look at the battles in the amateurs. Everybody's come to play. Daniel said there was going to be fireworks once everyone pitted. You know what, Dan? You were right.
It's going to be, isn't it? It's certainly going to be. So, yes, Alex Gull is making, let's say, he's certainly the high roll. He's gone all in, isn't he? There's nothing really there's nothing more he can do. The only thing he can do at the moment is just pull away. His last lap time was fast. It was faster than Labiche. That is critical. It was faster than Labiche, even though obviously Labiche did drop a couple of tenths, admittedly. But certainly something to watch out for. What has happened here, though? Because Nick Labiche and then Alex Bennett, how close are they now? What has happened here? I wonder if it's just the fact that, again, exactly where he needed to be. This is the battle for the lead. Realistically, Alex Gull, he's going to make some time up. It's not going to be enough. Is he going to make some time up into P3? Certainly so. But it's going to be Labiche versus Bennett. Who's going to come out on top? They're going to go side by side down coming into Lacombe. Is it going to be Labiche going to try and go around the inside? Is he going to hold it? He breaks later. Last of the late breakers. The Lamborghini tries to hold it around the outside. Bennett goes through. He's going to be on the inside going through the next left-hander. And then subsequently Labiche is going to be on the inside for the right-hander. Coming down now into Bruxelles. They're still side by side. They've been side by side now for about 400 meters. Is it going to continue as well? Oh, Labiche goes a little bit wide. That's going to get a perfect cutback there from Alex Bennett. Can't quite make it stick there because Labiche just about cuts it off. That was certainly a move from Alex Bennett. That is a statement. He wants the position. He's not going to sit behind anymore. Do you know what I said? I told you. Pit stops are done now. This is it. This is the battle. These are the positions. There is nothing that can be done else here now for any driver. It is just going to be flat out to the finish. Where is Alex Goud? He is up ahead at the moment. He hasn't gone into the pits yet. There he goes. Perfectly timed. Called it as the there. So he is now into pit lane. This is going to be important. Do you know what's more important? It's because Labiche and Bennett have slowed each other up. They've probably lost about a second and a half doing that. So that's going to be even more critical. The further we go ahead here, the more these two keep battling. Do you know what? I'm starting to think that Alex Gow's actually going to have a possible option. Maybe even Cass Huguenot and Nick Madsen. That depends as well. It's just all been blown completely out of proportion here, and it's all been blown wide open to the point where we don't simply know until probably the last 5 or 10 minutes.
Well, we've got 9.5 minutes left to go. And just a mistake there from Bennett coming around Blanchimont allows the beach to get some breathing room. But there's no breathing room when he's still got the slipstream. Where is Alex Gal right now? He still hasn't hit his pit box. Can't see him making this over the beach and Bennett. 15, 14, 13 seconds going down now. Still not in his box. He will go in. This is going to be the fastest splash and dash you will ever see. He'll lose the lead to the beach. He'll lose P2 to Bennett. But he may be able to say something with Huguenot there and Madsen. We'll wait and see. Labiche and Gal come down. Labiche and Bennett, sorry. Down they go. Up the hill. Look at that. Fantastic. R.I.P.
Gal's already out.
Fantastic. He's out. Fantastic from Gal. He's pulled. Look at the time he's pulled from Huguenot. 4 seconds. And he's gained 4 seconds. You know what? When you said this could happen, but the leaders are side by side once again. But Big takes the inside, and it's the outside now. Bennett gets the inside. Still side by side for the second time. Round 2, ding, ding, ding. The Beach wins it again, and he holds on to it, and there's nowhere for Bennett to go. And Nicholas realizes this. Goes to the middle of the track for Bruxelles. Fantastic driving. There is no way around this Urano Synsport car. No way he can get round right now. Bennett needs a wing and a prayer, and even more wings to get some downforce. That is going to be a tough ask to get around the beach when he's got so much defensive pedigree on him right now.
Yes, absolutely so. Very, very true. I mean, Bennett is going to have to pull some. I mean, realistically, what I'd probably do is I would, if anything, I would continue to make the same move. I would continue to make the same move, continue to try and make the same move every single time until the last couple of laps. And in the last couple of laps, try and do something completely different. Just switch it up massively. Because that's going to put something that Labiche may not be expecting. He may expect one thing to happen, and then something completely different happens. So you've got to try and switch it up. You've got to switch up at the right time. If you switch it up at the wrong time, that's going to cost you a significant amount of pace. So, you know, lots of these things are going through sort of everyone's head at the moment. And realistically, you've got to make sure, you know, that you continue to run through this. You see as well that Bennett backs off here. He doesn't want to make the move going down into it. Why would you? Because as soon as you make the move here, you're just going to get past again coming down into the, you know, down into the, after the Campbell Straight. So realistically, you've got to be nice and careful. A little bit further down, actually, we do have other cars battling as well, bear in mind. This is Liam Ahern and Sauterhaug. So the championship leader battling with the number 74 BMW. They're going to go side by side once again, and that's going to be a position done and dusted. So Sauterhaug now goes up into P3, the final step of the podium. Magnar Jonland is only a few tenths behind. You can just see him out shot there. So the two slow-mo Upnode Ultra cars are being split by Liam Ahern in the Verve Racing Team, the VRT. Striking livery, very, very nice. I do like the VRT colour scheme.
We do love the VRT. Do you know what's happened this time for the pros? Nothing. Alex Bennett could not get a run. So we will get back to them later. Here's a little battle. This is Reiter, Richardson, Nedlick. Oh, I don't know what's happening there. Oh, I think someone's having a little bit of internet issues there. Richardson having some small issues there, trying to hold on. Now, this is a big battle. This is definitely one to look at because Richardson's got to battle Reiter, who almost goes into the back of him. And it's very hard with somebody, and trust me, I know from experience, even myself, if someone's just having a little bit of packet loss issues, it's hard to know where he is, and there he goes, disappears again, comes back out. It's unfortunate what's happening. They do have pros behind, They're just Nedlick and Horton. That's the problem. What do you do if you're Thomas Reiter? You are battling here for a position. You've got two pros battling themselves behind you. What do? If they've got the run, do you let them by? I wonder what he's going to do right now. He doesn't let them by yet, but he comes into braking, and that's so hard at the moment. Now, what is this for Joachim Code on a replay? I think that's... Unfortunately, Joachim did have some packet loss issues earlier as well. And unfortunately, we lost him earlier.
Yeah, we lost him.
Code. Yeah, we lost him, didn't we?
That's a shame. That is a shame. Big share there for Joachim Code. That's certainly not what you want, especially this late into the race. Speaking of which, 5 minutes left to go. Look at that. Just ticked over, and in fact. So 5 minutes left to go here. We've still got some battling to be treated to, which is fantastic. Liv ahead, Magnar Jonlander. So Magnar Jonlander is actually getting a bit closer to the back of Liam Ahern, but more important than, well, I say, just as importantly, I tell you what though, Liam Ahern has got a poor run. He's not got the best of runs. He's going to have to go on the defensive, but Jonlander's got the run, and his teammates pulling him along just for good measure. So that's going to be done and dusted. There's going to be nothing that Liam Ahern can do at that point. No, he cannot. He has to sit behind, and he has to take the position. So now he's got both of the slow-mo Upnode Ultra cars in front of him. Certainly not what he would have wanted.
I think, hang on 1 second, Bennett's got the run. Bennett's got the run on the beach right now, but if he's doing it, he'll have to do it around the outside. This is crucial now with just a few minutes left in the race, a couple more laps left, braking again. Bennett tries to get that move. Can he make this stick? Can he make this stick? He tried to make this stick. He's got that position. He's left the inside open though for the beach. The beach does not get it. Bennett has the lead, and now Bennett's going to do the exact same thing the beach did to him. But Nicholas is going to try and go around the outside of Brazil. They touch and still trying to go around the outside. There is still overlap. He's going to do it into no name. Sliding goes the beach. Alex Bennett holds on to it. What a battle between these two.
Do you need a moment there, Craig? Wow, that was absolutely fantastic. I mean, to be fair, Labiche gave it a good go. I thought he was going to actually try and make a stick through Brazil. I wonder that moment he had going through No Name, was that caused because he may have overheated, he may have pushed too much through the tyres on the previous corner. Interesting stuff, though. I mean, now it's a role reversal, so we're going to have to see now. The gap is half a second. I'm sure that is going to start coming down again. So we know that the pace Labiche has got. We absolutely know that he is fast, very, very fast. He's been dominant all race, but now Bennis has decided that this is the time to go. Realistically, there are 2 laps left. A little bit wide there from the beach. That's cost him maybe a little bit more time. So it's all starting to kick off now. It's starting to get to that stage where, you know, the role reversal now kicks off. Now, is it going to be something? We know that, actually, Developer Beach is very, very bandit-like on the brakes, and he's very good on the brakes because of it. He knows his car inside out. He knows when he can say. He's pulled up 0.2 of a second, about a tenth of a second, just going into the final bus stop. So this is a position to be had here. This is not over yet. Martin Nedgelik and Harley Horton, they're having a bit of a battle side by side. I'll tell you what, I think that's because Will Richardson is still... It's tricky, isn't it? Because Will Richardson is being, through no fault of his own, but it's becoming a little bit tricky, obviously, for the people ahead to start, well, people behind start battling, because they're just not 100% sure as to where he is. Chris Chatterton and Thomas Dandridge are having another battle, so that's one thing we're going to have to keep an eye out for as well. Oh, it all starting to kick off right here, right now. If I was Thomas Reiter, I'd try and make a move going down maybe into the down into Kemmel Straight. I know it's difficult, but I you know, you've got to sort of predict to a certain degree, but I try and make it just to see. Nah, actually, no, maybe I wouldn't. I'm going to take that back. Actually, it's not worth the risk. Yeah, we're gonna have to see what happens then, and hopefully Will Richardson's internet does hold true for the final few moments. It would be a shame if it were to happen right on the last lap. This is not the last lap, is it?
No, we've got one more to go. We have one more to go after this, and that's good. That's amazing that we still got one more lap with this. Now, Labiche didn't have a run this time around. It was Bennett's there. There was no threat of any move. But Labiche is setting himself up. I think maybe that with the tyres. Maybe cool the tyres down a little bit more. Maybe just hold on and look to go. There is lap traffic, and I am worried about that. I mean, they will get by, but what type of impact is that lap traffic going to be? Where are they going to hit that lap traffic? But look at this. Hang on 1 second. This looked a little bit dicey. It is too wide. Can he make it stick? He does. And there's Nedlick going around Reiter, putting a bookmark there with Reiter in between him and Horton. Fantastic. Horton will have to get around Reiter if he wants to make this move. That is good to see there. Fantastic from Nedlick. He is going to use that to his advantage. Reiter, what can he do now? What can he do now? Because he cannot give the position away. He'll lose out to Will Richardson. But at the same time, Horton's going to be losing out here. So that's one to look at. I'm keeping my eyes on the leaders. Leaders are coming around. They will take the white flag. Barney waving that white flag. I think he's scared at the moment to see how close those guys are battling. The lap traffic for them is now in slipstream range. Now, I wonder, as they come down to the source, what's going to happen here. I am a little bit worried. Edison Manguera could be... He is a little bit... Just keep my eyes on Edison Manguera right here. You can just see right there. There is Bennett. There is the beach. Manguera, where can he go? Is he going to hold up? Is he going to hold up Bennett? He doesn't. Now, if the beach doesn't get this done here, I think that might be it. And you know what?
He's got to slow down.
The beach has no fuel. He's got to slow down.
Is it slow down or no fuel? Is it slow down or no fuel? I think...
I have no idea.
Oh, we're trying to... I don't know.
Oh, that's a slowdown. That is a
slowdown.
Oh,
no. Gave it a go.
And that is a slowdown by the barest of margins. Literally, there was centimeters in there. And that's it. That's it. I cannot see Bennett losing that. There were margins there. In the old system, you could understand with this. Oh, it's ever so close. And I think that might be it for Labiche. Now he's just going to make sure he does not lose this. Alex Gal, but Chatterton, Dandridge, they're going to be having a battle now themselves.
Certainly are. Down at the tail end of the Pro-Am category pack, but it doesn't mean that they can't have a good old race. And do you know what? I think it might be Chatterton. He's got a slow run coming down out of the exit of the bus stop. And is it going to leave the door open for Dandridge? Yes, he does, but he gets a good drive around the outside. That's going to pull him forward, and you can see it certainly does. So, at the moment, Chatterton now still maintains that position there, but for how long? This is the last lap. This is the battle. This is the position where you absolutely want it to be made. Is Dandridge going to be able to hold off? I mean, to be fair, you have to be very... is Chatterton going to be able to hold off? There is the slipstream working well. And is it going to be enough? It's going to be possible. I'll tell you what, Chatterton hasn't really defended too much on the inside, so he's going to try and go around the outside, though. Can't quite make it stick. It's Dandridge. He goes a little bit wide. That's cost him some time. But he manages to hold off and keep it close to the inside, and that's going to force Chatterton to... Well, he can't make the move at that point. That's him stuck. So, realistically... there's no real other opportunities apart from the bus stop. That's going to be a brave send for Chatterton. If he can stay close enough, no reason why he can't make it, although the gap has now just dropped to 0.7 of a second. So a bit of a little moment there going through Brussels for Chatterton. And it's now extended to 1.2 seconds. Could it possibly be a slowdown, or has he run out of fuel? What has happened?
I think it's fuel. I think it's fuel. Leaders across the finish line, by the way. Bennett, Labiche, Gal, Huguenot, Cody Pride about to cross the line to win for the Pro-Ams once again. But we're watching this. What has happened? That's just them just having a little bit of a moment. What has happened to Chatterton? It looks like he is out of fuel. Yeah, he's sputtering. He is sputtering. That is him clutching it. Chatterton's out of fuel, and that is a shame. So we are going to see the likes of Benson. Benson, Dandridge. They're going to survive this. They're going to keep their position. Will Richardson does get that P4. Ethan Bath, by the way. P5. Sorry, Ethan Bath gets the P4. Great recovery off that little spin for Ethan Bass. And I think then all we got to pay our eyes on now is this man. I mean, this is one I feel, I got to say, Daniel, for a man that's watched this driver throughout the season, throughout previous events, and you see what he's done and you see where he's come, to see this man just have it. And here he goes. Look at it. Don't have a cheeky going at Eau Rouge. Here he goes, and you can see everybody's there. Chatterton, he needs the fuel, but Simon can't do it. This is the man. This is going to be a really popular victory. Simon Dodd wins at Spa for the amateurs. That is definitely a popular victory.
Certainly is. Very, very well done indeed to Simon Dodd. You can see, I'm sure he will be a happy bunny within that car. Dominated. Absolutely dominated. As soon as he got into the lead... I mean, wowzers. Fair play indeed. Here comes, there's Reddit Devoy in P2 with Saltau in P3 with Magnar Yonland half a second behind teammate. So fantastic drive from both of the slow-mo up-node Ultra cars, the number 98 and 87. So Southtown still taking some good points home. Ultimately, though, taking some points off of, that will be Dean Timms, who will be finishing down a little bit further down the order, unfortunately. But a good performance nevertheless. We're going to bring you the full finishing results in a few moments, and we're also hopefully going to be able to bring you some driver interviews as well. We will have to see, but I think everyone has passed the finish line now. So let's bring up the results, and so we can give you the full rundown for round number 5.
Yeah, let's just go over that. I know we do have a couple people waiting to come in, but we'll go through the results. And of course, we did miss it, but Alex Bennett did indeed win that cracking race in the pros. Being Nicholas the Beach, unfortunately, had a slowdown at the end. We'll talk it through with him very shortly, I'm sure about that. And then Alex Gal did get that P3. Fantastic drive from Alex Gal there. And then Kaz Huguenot takes home the 4th, and Nick Madsen will be 5th. And then Augusto Kalasimi for the pros, and followed by Martin Nedlick, Harley Horton, as you can just see there, Danny Ratz, Harry Wills, Matt Furtwangler, Victor Yowen, Sean Campbell, Eric Pochett, and Stuart Reynolds as well. All of them make up the pro field. And then we come to the pro-ams. It is Cody Pry, the leader, the championship leader, Cody Pry, leading the way with Alvin Kelberg coming P2. Daniel Stedgley with a very good P3. Ethan Bass, like we said, fell down the order a little bit, came back to P4. Will Richardson held on to 5th. Thomas Reiter will be 6th, and Svenny Mathiasen is 7th. It is Eric Benson coming there. But we're just seeing the leaders there, just as they come across. That is Alex Bennett there with that win there. Look at that. We didn't get to see it because of how close the battle was, but we knew it was all signed, sealed, and delivered the moment the beach did have that slowdown there. So unfortunately, that's the way it is. Of course, the amateurs, we've just seen the pro-ams there for the amateurs as well, like we were saying. Simon Dodd won the amateurs, like I said, very popular win, followed by Frederick Joy there. Sauerhug does make up a P3. That's helpful for him in the championship. Magnus Yolland will be 4th. Meekan 5th. Assen will be 6th. Assen 7th. Henning Haig will be 8th. Isaac will be 9th. Mangera will be 10th. Like I said, just Dean Timms there 16th. Not where he wanted to be, I think, today, but still a good recovery after starting at the back with not qualifying. So let's bring in one of the drivers in that cracking end to the race for the pros. It's Nicholas the Beach there. Nicholas, it was unfortunate there what happened at the end. It was a close battle with Alex there. Win was probably on. Did you have I think you had a slowdown on the last lap. Am I right in thinking, Nicholas?
Yeah, I saw that Alex literally had someone right in front of him, and I was a bit too aggressive then in Blanchimont. I tried to somehow still get close to him, but I had no chance there, and then I unluckily got a slowdown there. Like, it was extremely close there, and then the battle was over, but it was an extremely good battle. It was fair all the way through.
I mean, we were watching it. Daniel thought I lost my voice at one point, I must be honest. But the defending there was fantastic. What I want to know myself as a lower level racer, what gives you the confidence to go side by side into Lecum, Malmedy, Bruxelles? What gives you the confidence to go side by side like that?
Yeah, that's a good question. I guess it's all about knowing the track, knowing your car. I mean, in Spa, I probably have about 200, 300 hours total drive time. So I exactly know how much space I have on the left, on the right side in the comp. And if you actually know this, it is possible, of course, to drive too wide through there. And the other guy, of course, also has to somewhat know where he has to position his car and so on. And Alex also did a great job there. I think we touched once, but there was nothing really big going on, and it was an extremely good battle, extremely fair, but extremely close.
Like I said, we enjoyed every minute of that. It was fantastic seeing. I really wish I could be aggressive on the brakes like you in that BMW. It's fantastic. We've got a week off next week, Nicholas. So are you just going to be relaxing your way before we come to Monza in 2 weeks' time?
I think that's not going to be possible for me. I'm going to have, I think, 10 hours of Suzuka. The iRacing special event is going to be there. and I'm gonna have a lot of other series like Porsche Esports Super Cup qualifying and so on. So I'm probably not gonna have any free time in the next 3 or 4 weeks.
I know some people say lots of sim racing. That sounds like fun, but it can be very stressful. I can understand. Before we let you go, Nicholas, have you got any shout outs one more time before we let you go for the week?
Yeah, of course. Thanks to Uran and all our sponsors, HKM, HP, and Huawei, and of course to Alex for that incredible battle.
Well, Nicholas, it was unfortunate you didn't get the win, but it was still a fantastic P2, and you provided some fantastic racing for everyone to see. Congratulations on the P2, and like we say, we will see you in 2 weeks, and good luck with the 10 hours and, of course, the Porsche Esports qualifying.
Thank you.
Now, I think I have to do this because this is the one that, like I said, this is the one that I think everybody in the league would feel happy about. Simon Dodd, winner of the amateurs at Spa. How does that sound? How does that feel?
That sounds rather fantastic.
It's one of those things, Simon. We saw the qualifying. Were you surprised as well with the qualifying? Because that was such a good time in qualifying to get you there. And then really, it just felt like it was just a drive your race because it looked like you had a very calm and a very calm race to drive there.
Yeah, I mean, Monday practice, I wasn't feeling confident at all. I think I was sort of a second off my teammate Dean. And normally we're within a tenth of each other, and I was like, this isn't going to go well. So I jumped in a quick test session just before the session launched today, and somehow managed to find like a second or something like that a lap. I do admit I did change to a different profile on my wheelbase. That may have something to do with it. I have no idea, but I just managed to find time all of a sudden. Then went into quali. First lap, I got an off track on the exit of Blanchimont. So I was like, all right, second lap, I've just got to take it a bit easy. Just lift going into Blanchimont and then make sure you make the exit. And then banged out that, what was it, a 16.6 or 16.9, something like that, I think it was. And then I was sat there and I was waiting and no one came faster. And I was like, what? Oh, okay, I'm on pole. Well, this will be interesting.
I think you were lucky. I think you were lucky there with the chaos behind as well. So I think you were quite thankful. But I mean, I'm talking about chaos, Simon. After the break next week, we come back. It's Monza. That always promises to be chaos. Are we expecting to see another Simon? Yeah, I love Monza. Are we expecting to see another Simon Dodd, winner of the amateurs?
I'd like to think so, but who knows? I mean, last season we had the different qualifying. No, it wasn't last season. It was the season before. I think we had the different qualifying structure, where you had the top 3 or 5 shootout, and Monza was the only track that I made it into that top 3 or 5 shootout that we used to have. So I'm not too bad there. So fingers crossed. We'll do some good there as well. But yeah, it was a bit of a boring race, if I'm honest. Like there are a couple of moments where I had a pro come out just behind me in the pits, and I was like, they're going to give second place a tow here, and they might catch up to me. Turns out they didn't, and I just kept gapping, and I think it was about 11 seconds at the end to second place, and I was like, okay, fine. I was doing a bit of tyre saving, a tiny bit of fuel saving, but not that much, and just, driving my race. And I think I had 2 mistakes the whole race that I was aware of. And pretty happy with that.
Any shout-outs before we let you go for the night?
We'll go with the Clips Racing team as always, and Dean and Twiggy for creating the setup. And then we might as well shout out to Pervade Software and sign up to Police Cyber Alarm if you're a business in the UK that has a standalone firewall. We can monitor all your attacks. It's a free service, and you get vulnerability reports. So happy days.
Happy night for you as well, Simon. Winner of the amateurs. Congratulations once again. Have a good evening, and we'll see you in a fortnight.
See you in a fortnight, guys. Thanks a lot for the broadcast.
Thank you very much. Right, we've got just a couple more people to come by, so we'll just have a quick talk to Ethan. Ethan, it was a good qualifying. Unfortunately, I think it just went a little bit haywire, a little bit of a spin, but still recovery to P4. So, good race in your eyes?
a good recovery because it could have been an awful lot worse. And yeah, you are right about that. A spin, and that was all because in the melee to get out of the pits between myself, Cody, and Albin, as I short stopped to try and make up some lost ground after a lap 1 slowdown penalty, because I just unfortunately ran wide up launching one. I get round to the bus stop on the outlap and then gun it out of it, and then it just spins itself because I completely forgot to put the traction control back on.
Oh no, we don't want to see that. That's unfortunate, Ethan. That's horrible.
It was just a lapse of concentration because of what was happening. I'm amazed I got around 90% of the lap without the traction control.
I mean, I'd love to know how you did that. That's fantastic to see. Well, we got Monza in a couple of weeks. I know you got a week off. You can rest the Ford a little bit, maybe drive it another series. We've got Monza in 2 weeks' time. I seem to recall that strong for the Ford. Am I right? Have I got that the wrong way around? Is that what we're expecting to see?
It depends how the updates have made it go over the chicanes, especially the first and second one. It's a case of if I can run the curbs aggressively, then I'll be fine. It wasn't too bad at Le Mans. They had similar curbs at the Ford chicane, so it shouldn't honestly be too bad. And the Ford should be fine there now. I think we should be strong. I need to try and make up lost ground.
Yeah, it's one of those things as well, especially with Cody winning this week. It's one of those that the recovery drive was good, but I think you have lost a little bit of points gap there to Cody. But that's one that, we're at the halfway stage. Anything can happen. If you've got any shout outs before we let you go.
I have to thank you boys on the broadcast and Race Anywhere for the title sponsor. I think that was good fun. It'll be good to watch back. The broadcasts are always good quality. Though I'm watching the broadcast now, that's a Ferrari on screen. That's not my Ford.
we can find it. I think it's right. There we go. There's your Ford. There you go. It's nice to see the Ford. It's we can't see it, but no, Ethan, congratulations on the recovery drive. It's still a top 5, but still, it's the battle between you and Cody Pry. It looks like, but like I said, a week and a week off, and then we'll see you next week in 2 weeks. Sorry, for Monza. So all the best, Ethan, and once again, congratulations on that P4.
Thanks very much, lads. Catch you in 2 weeks. Hopefully, the string of podiums will continue because that's the podium run ended. Three on the bounce and then not a 4th.
All the best, Ethan. Hopefully we see. And finally, what better way to just kick off to finish the broadcast tonight with the overall winner, Alex Bennett. Alex, I'm going to ask the same question I asked Nicholas. Where do you get the confidence to go side by side through that technical section with a driver like Nicholas? Because I don't know how you two didn't almost take yourself out with how tight that was.
I think you just got to go for it and really, really hope the other guys sort of on board with leaving the space as well. But yeah, I mean, props to Nicholas. That was great. There aren't many people that you can go through there without somebody dooring the other one completely into Narnia. So yeah, props to him. That was really, really good.
I mean, you tried that a couple times. Was it just a case of I wouldn't say hit and hope, as they would say in a racket game, but was it just a case of just try? You had the pace, you had the run because of because of coming up the Kemmel Straight. Was it just that, or were you just looking at the time and thinking you had to make your move?
Yeah, partly as well. I just needed to make sure I got a big enough run along the Kemmel to have enough overlap that I'd be able to kind of get my nose ahead into the second apex, because I didn't really have that enough on the first 2 attempts. And to be honest, I'm not, those corners are probably my weakest part of the track, so I'm never extremely confident sort of really sending it into there. So I just needed to have like a big enough overlap, get my car far enough ahead that I'd be able to keep it ahead. But yeah, I mean, it was really, really close between the two of us, but yeah, you've just got to keep trying. That's really all you can do. And fortunately, once I got ahead, I think I had the pace in the car to just about stay out of range from him. So worked out well.
Yeah, it was fantastic to watch as well. You've got a week off, so you've got a nice little break to just recharge your batteries. You'll probably be doing other things, of course, as expected. Monza's coming up in 2 weeks' time. I mean, I don't expect to see you and Nicholas go side by side through the chicanes at Monza, but are we going to expect to see a similar type of race from you at Monza?
I don't know. I mean, Spa's always been a really strong track for me. Monza, maybe not quite so much. So we'll see. I mean, going into every race, I'm just trying to focus on finishing and not crashing. And that was my main sort of thought today as well. If I hadn't gotten the move done, but I got second, it wouldn't be, it wouldn't be too bad. So, yeah, I'm just trying to keep it consistent. Monza's not my best track, but I'm just hoping to, hopefully be on the podium.
Yeah, well, you were on the podium again. Once again, you're on the top spot tonight. Sorry. Any shout-outs before we let you go for the, not just for the night, but for a fortnight?
Yeah, I mean, huge shout out to Nicholas for the good racing. Honestly, that's that's all I've got to say. And it was unfortunate what happened with Martin earlier in the race. He was pretty unlucky for things to go that way. But yeah, I mean, Cass also had like a really sort of a pretty quiet but solid race. So just well done to those guys, I guess.
Well, Alex, thank you. That was fantastic. It was an honor to watch that fantastic battle between you and Nicholas. Congratulations on the win, Alex, and we hopefully will see you in a fortnight at Monza. And until then, have a good time.
Thanks, man.
Well, Daniel, I don't know about you, but I don't know how I got the energy anymore. That was a fantastic race tonight. I don't know if you would probably agree with me, but I think we just saw some of the best overtakes and best moves we've seen all season.
Well, certainly so. I mean, realistically, it was definitely interesting. I think, as well in regards to the start, it was pretty aggressive at the start. I think for everyone, I'm sure everyone would agree with that. But yeah, it settled down really nicely, and then, towards the end, we saw some amazing overtakers, some amazing racing. Yeah, all in all, really, really enjoyed this round. Spa is always a great track, and it's good to see the tactics that were being played in there as well. Kudos to Alex Gal for getting that P3. Very, very good stuff. Very, very enjoyable to watch as well, especially with how the strategy played out over the entire race. The long game, and it was played very, very well. So, yeah, I'm just looking forward. Obviously, got a break next week, and then we're back on it when we come back. The following Wednesday. Monza again is always a great circuit. That's going to be even more of a fuel-saving strategy than here, arguably. So, we are hopefully going to see much of the same.
It's going to be fantastic. I mean, the first half of the series has been bumper to bumper entertainment with fantastic racing through all three classes. And once we come back after our week off next week, promises to be the same. Shout out to our sponsors as per usual. RaceAnywhere.co.uk for sponsoring the World Series. Sim3D.co.uk for providing fantastic gear for your sim needs. And of course, don't forget to check out the website worldseriesleague.co.uk and our website, of course, underneath the video. It's been fantastic. Later on tonight is the Race Anywhere Transatlantic Series, but like I said, we're going to have a little bit of a break. We'll be off next week because it's the rest week. But don't forget to check out the rest of Absolute Sim Racing. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the thumbs up. We will love everybody and every little comment we get and every little person that comes in and says hello and watches fantastic racing. There'll be more racing live on this channel this week. But until then, for myself and Daniel, it has been fantastic for you guys to be here to watch the fantastic racing tonight. I've enjoyed it. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We will see you in 2 weeks. But until then, have a good evening and stay safe. Good evening.